Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
Planned my colonoscopy a couple weeks after I thought it would happen, and now
Thanks for sharing, dudes. Like, I don't know, why did we just openly share?
well, because I think
about
men's health
these
is an
things.
important thing.
If you're
Pretty crazy.
contemplating getting a colonoscopy, whether for pleasure or for, health, I would go ahead and do it because it is a good purge. Everybody needs a good purge every once in a while.
Well,
And it's one of the most relaxing sleeps that you'll have. So
It is.
well, that's
go ahead and get your
Listen.
colonoscopy. Get on that maintenance. Just like rotating your tires.
Clean
We
me
need
out.
to get off this.
Evan, this is
Let me tell you,
Evan, you're gonna have to confront this not too distant future.
You should.
I don't need to talk about it publicly, though. All right, I'm not gonna
all the
tell
Jersey,
anybody.
all the
Ashamed
Jersey
of it.
Mikes you eat, all those nitrates.
You know,
so when you get
Your
yours,
turkey
you should go in and
sandwich
say,
every
do
day.
it Mike's way.
Sure.
So you ever see It's a Wonderful
her up.
Life?
no.
Yes.
Oh, the movie.
Yeah.
You've never seen It's a Wonderful
Jewish.
Life?
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
It's still a wonderful life, Evan.
I saw Schindler's List.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Tuesday here at Gillette Stadium, and we're down one. Paul's in Italy.
What a shame.
Yeah.
So can only imagine what's going on over there right now.
Can only imagine.
What if you can only imagine? Wow.
That was good.
He's
Bad joke.
He's probably in an argument at some latte place.
Right.
Scusi,
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you guys make fun of Italians here, right? There's no making fun of Italians here. We're all Italians, right?
Right. So I'm sure we'll have some stories when he gets back.
Yeah, we've had a check-in. Sounds like he's so far he was like had some pizza. It was good.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. I'm like,
Good.
all right.
Good
I'm
take.
gonna be disappointed if he comes back and all he did was just eat like an Italian sub and pizza the whole time. Like, I hope he gets some like real Italian food.
Have you met Paul?
I have actually, you're
That-
right, and that's why I'm
that-
saying it
that's
right now. I'm
exactly
getting
what's
ahead
gonna
of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be like a seafood dish, and he'll like turn his nose up on it. Anyway, it's Evan, it's Deuce, it's me, it's Matt in the booth. We're talking Patriots, and things are starting to heat up a little bit here at Gillette Stadium.
Rookie minicamp Saturday.
Rookie minicamp. We'll have access to it on
Yeah.
Saturday, but it
Yes.
starts on Friday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thursday, we'll be out on the field with the Patriots' first-round draft pick, Caleb Lemieux. That'll be around 4 o'clock, we think, 4 p.m. We'll cover that live on Patriots.com, and so you can watch that annual tradition.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And then, like Deuce said, on Saturday, we'll be out there with the first look at the Rooks.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll be outside. Last year it was raining, so we had to go to the bubble, but we
Yes.
did get hamburgers, so that was a little bit of a trade-off. But I'd like to be outside. I love these OTA practices, especially when you get through the draft and we get through schedule release is kind of a big thing for us. But once we get into these like OTAs, I feel like we're on the ramp to summer and the ramp to break, and the refreshing break that we have not had since really feel like last summer.
And, over the years, it's always been made clear to us, and I'm sure Vrabel says the same thing, that these early months of spring and summer are for teaching. It's not necessarily evaluation. However,
Puppy's got a bite.
yeah, things happen, and, sometimes things that happen in spring carry forward. And so, it's a good topic for discussion. What are some things in the past that you saw early on, May, that was an indication of things to come? And I'm thinking about like offensive line alignments or, wide receivers who kind of stuck out right away, things like that.
I'd start with size and speed. Just
Yeah.
having size and speed. Those, guys that like Travion last year got in person. It was like, oh, he's got another gear.
Yeah. I think I would say you can tell how the guys move and all that kind of stuff, but for the most part, you try not to put too much stock into it. I remember my first year, Maurice Harris tore up the spring and the start of
veteran
training
free
camp
agent, right?
as a veteran free
Yeah.
agent. Brady was throwing him the ball like crazy, and then we got into the summer, and the pads came on, and the real competition began, and all of a sudden, Maurice Harris didn't even make it to cutdown day. Didn't even make it to the end of training camp, and everybody pivoted to Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers then kept getting better and better, and Maurice Harris faded, and Jacoby Myers ended up being the guy that stuck. So I always have that in the back of my head of like, don't fall for Maurice Harris again and get too caught up in what happens this time of year. But last year I was looking over some of the stuff that we did out of these rookie mini camps and stuff last year, and we were already talking about Efton Chisholm and Lan Larison and some of the guys that did end up making some noise for the Patriots, in training camp. So it's not. It could go both ways, but you do try not to put too much stock into it at the same time.
Yeah, 4 undrafted wide receivers. I'm interested just to see how those guys move, what their body types are like, where they're lining up a little bit. You get a sense of guys that maybe skew a little bit more towards the outside, guys that might be slot receivers. Raritan, I want to see, how does he look? What's the cut of his jib, as Paul might say. He's a big dude. I mean, sometimes like Gronk, tell you Gronk is big, and you look at the numbers, and Gronk. But when you see Gronk in person, you're like, no, he's a monster. Like, he's huge. So curious how Raritan kind of looks in person.
Are there any limitations for this weekend? We know they can't hit and make contact, but like in terms of throwing or anything like that?
No, it's OTA rules.
Yep.
So like you can have offense versus defense. You can throw. There's just no pads and there's no contact. So it's the same thing that we're going to see at veteran minicamp. It's the same set of rules. So last year, they did do some 11-on-11s, or at least 7s. They did some sort of team stuff at the end where we saw them actually, line up and play football for a little bit. Not a ton, but a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Now, it'd be good to get out there, see some of these guys. I don't know how much you can tell on the offensive line, though, but I was just kind of messing around with the Pats Picker thing, which is a great app if you're a nerd and you want to, like, figure out, it's just an app to figure out the roster spots. It's an easy way to do it and quick, look. And I like it because you can get an immediate feeling for the roster. And, I just still feel they're really thin on the inside. And, Ev mentioned the guy John Darius Morgan, who, you liked a little bit. And I think there's a real opportunity. You have Ben Brown as a good swing backup, but after that, it feels like a free-for-all at the guard position. So maybe an opportunity for a kid like that. Are we going to learn anything in rookie minicamp? Probably not, but at least clock him and see what he looks like.
Yeah, him and Jacob Rizzi, the 2 interior guys that
you
they
didn't
brought
rizz
in.
up Rizzi that much, though.
I wasn't as into Rizzi, no. But he has 4-position flexibility. He can play pretty much anywhere on the offensive line. So just from a value standpoint, the more you can do. So I didn't like his tape as much as I liked Morgan's tape, but he has a lot more versatility. I think Morgan's a pure guard, but Rizzi can kind of play at probably all 3 interior spots at least, and maybe even right tackle in a pinch too. So there's some value there in terms of versatility. But both those guys have a path to the roster, absolutely. I mean, behind Ben Brown, it's kind of a free-for-all there for if they're going to even carry an extra guard or an extra interior guy. Maybe they feel like Lomu can flex in, worst-case scenario. He could play guard if he had to as like a super sub. That's kind of what Elliott Wolf alluded to. If he doesn't play as a rookie at tackle, if somebody gets hurt on the interior, would you just move him inside and have him play interior for, a spot start or something?
Is Ben Brown also our backup center?
Yeah, he's our backup swing on the
I
interior.
think they extended him last year. I mean, I love him. I mean, I think he's got great size. He's a great guy. We had him in here a couple of times. But I think cornerback's another position behind the top 3 that's kind of a free-for-all. Who's going to be able, Prunty they drafted, but every year they've been drafting guys on the 3rd day. That's a spot, special teams heavy. Marcellus Dial coming off an injury. Just hard to suss out how that's all going to play out. But I think if you're a cornerback, there's probably a couple spots that are going to be pretty wide open. Especially you're going to have to play special teams. But, somebody like Charles Woods, he had some experience last year on the outside. I mean, you're going to need that, 4th guy behind the top 3. So who is it? Who can emerge? I mean, it's exciting to see, just an opportunity to be there.
They might do some special team, handling punts and kickoffs, and they probably the kickoff returner job is up, up for not up for grabs, but someone could make a dent there.
Yeah,
I think punt returning is Marcus Jones's job. But in terms of kickoff, and I remember, I forget which training camp it was, but I was standing behind the end zone. It was before training camp, and Bethel Johnson, who was a rookie, and he was taking kickoff, and I couldn't believe how fast he would get to top speed. I'm like, wow, this guy looks different.
Yeah.
I mean, he just got so fast, so quick.
Madden Hall of Famer, Michael Johnson.
Yeah.
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 Well, yeah. I mean, no matter how many times you watch tape of these guys, you see them play in high school or college and high school. But once you got to get them out on the field against other NFL players to see what their size and speed, how they really, really match up at this level. you
Yeah,
know?
certainly that third running back spot is probably going to have to be somebody that can return kickoffs. It was all last year for them, and if it's Jam Miller, if it's Land Larison, if it's Terrell Jennings, like whoever wins that job is going to get thrown back there to return kickoffs as a pretty regular option. So whoever has the most juice, probably on paper Jam Miller just based off of his athletic profile, but Land Larison's pretty quick. He maybe be able to do it too. So
Speaking of kickoffs, did they tweak the alignment rule for kickoffs this year?
There was a
where
slight
guys
tweak.
line up?
I don't remember what the technicality of it. There was like a slight tweak to something, I thought.
yeah, I don't know. I don't think anything major. I
Yeah.
don't think it's going to change.
Do they need to? I mean, this kickoff thing. I mean, there are more kickoff returns than there has been, right?
There is.
Yeah.
There's more returns, but now it's become a play of like trying to get to the 30 instead of trying to break one. Like it's less about they were hoping that it would create more explosive returns, and I don't know if it has done that. But now the 30-yard line is kind of that line of demarcation that you want to get across. So I think teams could be more creative on it. I don't think that there's enough sort of creativity of how the blocking schemes and also just the way you use both returners back there. I feel like there's more there, but I think teams are so reluctant to risk ball security in favor of doing stuff like that they're like, oh, we'll just take it at the 25 or the 30 and take our chances.
It's super technical. It's like the number of receiving team players in the setup zone with their front foot on the setup line is reduced from 5 to 6. Additionally, 4 players up from 3 can be in the setup zone behind. I don't know.
Yeah, not anything
it's
that's
all
gonna
kind of look the same.
Not anything that's gonna change the play.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna look relatively the same.
Yeah, but another spot where, like you guys said, opportunity. So that's where you start to. I think when you get to this point, you're looking at where the position battle is going to be. We know the good players. We want to see how Drake looks and all that. But there's going to be some opportunities.
So I'm thinking top 3 things that need to be figured out first for this team. Top 3 things that
if a certain receiver is coming to join us, perhaps that
Okay.
might be number 1. I would say.
Okay. Aside from AJ Brown, boy, they were really talking about it like it's definitely going to happen on that NFL show.
Yeah, right.
Everybody's
talking
today,
about that.
just today.
I mean, all the fantasy places have him on the Patriots in
Right.
like the fantasy app.
So is this all just a charade? Like, are we
Well,
all
I
like
just think it's a
kinda-
rules thing. They have to wait until June, and if they say it's definite now, then they broke a rule.
Yeah, right.
So they can't. So they have to wait until June 1st to announce it.
It feels like everybody doesn't want to give up a first-round pick, though. That's like I feel like the consensus of Patriots Nation of great, would love them, don't want to give up a first-round pick, and I agree with those people.
So going back to the question, the top 3 things the team has to figure out first. Would it be, can Jarrett Wilson play center in the
That's
NFL?
a good one, Fred. Yeah, I think that's in the mix. I mean, what's that transition like? I mean, there hasn't been a lot of transition. It's just, I mean, you could look at Draymond Jones swapping him out with Chase on, like, how does he look? But, really when I think about the roster, it's all kind of intact for the most part. You mentioned one change. Draymond Jones is another change.
Yeah.
I
I would just say like Harold Landry on the other side
Yeah.
too. Like, what are they going to get out of Harold Landry?
Is he out
But you
there?
don't know that until the season starts.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, if he's healthy,
Yeah.
Like I would like to think that we could at least maybe see a little glimpse in training camp of does he got the juice still? Is he coming off the edge with the same kind of speed? I mean, that's his game. So if he doesn't have that gear to come off the edge, he's not the biggest guy. He's not this physical specimen, kind of like, he's not Akis or Draymond Jones who built on power. So if he doesn't have that finesse ability, then that's a big part of his game. So what they get out of him, and can Akis fill that role immediately if they are not going to get Harold Landry at the peak of Harold Landry, that I would say is one thing that I'm looking for, because I think Draymond Jones and Chase on are going to be a 1-for-1 swap. Like I don't expect more out of Draymond Jones necessarily, but I don't expect less either. So that's kind of a wash.
Mm-hmm.
But the other side, if it's not going to be Landry, then you're putting the 2nd-round pick there, right? I mean, that's a pretty big role for a rookie that wasn't drafted at the top of the draft to instantly step into. Maybe Elijah Ponder can like push for
Jones
snaps
on the
there
left
too.
and Ponder on the right to start.
Yeah.
See, just I love that stuff. Usually you overreact, but you want to put veterans that know what they're doing in these camps, not like, throw the rookies into the fire. But I mean, when we get there, I think Vera Tucker too, just size wise, how does he look next to Will Campbell?
Can we just put him in
Wilson,
bubble wrap until we
Right.
that him and I'm very interested. Him and Morgan Moses. Like we know Moses is going to be on some sort of plan in training camp where he's going to practice some days and he's not going to practice others, or do team drills one day, not do team drills the next. But I wonder if they have something in mind similar with Vera Tucker to try to keep him healthy, because he hasn't.
Yeah, but Morgan is also an age issue. Vera Tucker's not that old.
He's not that old, but he can't stay on the field.
Right.
So what sports science can Frank Perino and his staff muster up to try to figure out how to keep this guy healthy? So I think that's
but it's also
the big thing.
You want him to get out there, you want him to learn the system, you want him to develop that chemistry that they had last year with the same starting five for pretty much the whole season, injuries aside. So but I think that's a really big piece of it. Just how is he going to fit in, and what's his impact? How does he change the offense? Yesterday, some of the Chargers playoff game was on, and just watching Campbell and Wilson, a little bit undersized, especially when you have Wilson at left guard. So just be great to see some more size next to Campbell. I think it'll help a lot.
So going back to the question, center is definitely something they got to figure out fast, right?
But I think that's one where he's kind of in it to win it. I can't imagine that he doesn't look good and they're like, we got to put Ben Brown in there. That would be a real trouble sign to me. I think they're going to ride with him, and then if it's not working out, then maybe they make the switch. But
yeah, that one feels like into the season.
Yeah.
Jared Wilson's a starting center, and you kind of give him that rope to develop there. And we get into the season and we're 5-6 weeks in and he's having a tough time, then maybe we have a different conversation. But I can't see him losing the job in training camp at that spot yet. That seems a little premature.
Yeah, that's why the depth I think interests me most, which isn't I think that's a good thing.
That sorts itself out.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So anything else in terms of the offensive line? Do we need to figure out left and right tackle, or are we set?
Well, it's just there's just so many guys. How does it all break up? I mean, I'm looking at my thing. They have 8 tackles, so you got 4 layers of tackles on there. We've talked a lot about Morgan Moses getting some rest. Does Lomu, get a lot of early reps at right tackle to, help speed things along for him? Do we see him at guard at some point?
We kind of talked about it last week. Is there any chance that Lomu just flat out beats out Morgan Moses?
There's a chance.
Yeah,
there's always a chance of anything.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing, though, holding him back is going to be, does he have the play strength and does he have the size yet to play at this level? He played last year at Utah at 307 pounds. That's not going to fly with the big boys. So can he get the muscle on fast enough? Can he work his way, from a physical development standpoint to the point where he's already better than the 4th overall pick last year or Morgan Moses? Seems lofty, but not impossible. But then what do you do? Then are you telling Morgan Moses, who, they just talk about as this leader in that room of just setting an example and getting all the guys, all the younger players, and taking all of those guys under their wings, and I don't know,
there's a role for that.
Yeah, they just are really, really high on that.
We lost some locker room guys last year. And locker room's important to every team, especially, with Vrabel. So, got to make sure that guys like Morgan Moses has a voice and has a role in the locker room.
Yeah,
that's important.
Yeah, bringing the line together.
He's the leader of that room now. Bradbury's not here anymore.
Yeah.
So, he's the leader of that offensive line.
I'd like to see Campbell take on some more leadership role. He's he's got that kind of vibe to him. Just one more thing I'd say on the offensive line. I want to see Bryant and Crownover, 2 giants. How do those guys look? What's Crownover's athleticism like?
That's a fun little battle.
Dudes?
I think both those guys, you probably carry 3 or 4 tackles. So I don't know if you're going to carry both of them on the roster, especially because they don't really flex inside. So they're really backup tackles.
Do you think with the addition of Gilliam this year and the new tight end and all that stuff, do you think we'll see a 6 eligible linemen come in, or will they not have to do that this year?
Oh, I definitely think you'll see that. That's a fad around the whole league, though. That's not just the Patriots or whatever. Every team has that package now at their disposal, and it just has a lot of value. So I would expect them to still have it. Now, is that a role for Lomu early on? Is that a role from Crownover, who played tight end and then converted to tackle as he got bigger, from high school to college? Is that something that one of these rookies can do? Marcus Bryant couldn't do it. They went to Thayer Munford over Marcus Bryant last year. Like, you would like to think that one of those rookies, especially Lomu, would be able to play that right away. I mean, that's what Solder did, right?
Yeah.
So,
and how does Julian Hill fit into that equation? I mean, it's kind of like the linebacker safety thing we talked about. It's the tight end, fifth tackle kind of, I mean, the good news is Josh can do whatever he wants. I mean, he has 2 fullbacks to play with in camp. He has multiple offensive linemen. You want to try to get Lomu on the field. Julian Hill's an established pro who can certainly block, and then you got to figure out how to get Raritan. And so it'll be fun to see how it all plays out.
Anthony thinks they need to round out the wide receiver pecking order aside from A.J. Brown. So figuring out the wide receiver room, is that a high priority?
Well, if Brown comes, does someone go, or do they let them just battle it out and then figure it out when cutdown day comes? Or, there's been speculation of, could Booty be part of the package? I think the Eagles have done so much this offseason at receiver. I don't really see them being like, give us Booty. Like, we've kind of addressed that, but I don't know. It's that's a good question too. That might have to be figured out once Brown arrives.
I don't know about pecking. Like, if there's no AJ Brown, then Romeo Doubs is going to get the lion's share of the targets, and Booty and Matt Collins have their roles within the structure of the offense already. So like I kind of just would see that at that point. Like, Romeo Doubs is in for Stephon Diggs, and exactly what they had last year is repeating itself just with Romeo Doubs.
So if Brown comes in, is 1, 2, 3 Brown, Doubs, Hollins?
I think it depends.
Yeah, I mean, I think you play with it. I mean,
he's definitely in the mix.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to put hard numbers on it, because I think there's always a place for Hollins to do some things, and I think there's I honestly wonder about Chisholm and Douglas. Like, that's a battle to me of talking to people this whole offseason. Pop Douglas's name has come up a couple times as somebody who they don't see quite fitting. Not this is outside of the building. We'll see how they feel once we get a second year of him in this system. But I could see Chisholm. I don't know. And again, like, I'm kind of like you, Fred. I have like a little starry eyes for him sometimes. Again, watching that Chargers game, coming up with a catch. I mean, he missed Drake on the pass, but I like the kid. I think he fights for yards, and he's kind of tough, and he's scrappy. And
I just want to find that one guy who, he's not going to be as good as Wes Welker, but that type of style that if Drake is okay with it, having that outlet that can move the sticks, that can just get open and just matriculate the ball down the field when you have to. I know he likes the chunk plays, but that's not always going to be there for him.
Just the Amendola second
I think they
slot.
hope that that's Romeo Doubs.
Yeah.
I think that he's sort of supposed to be the engine. Even if they get A.J. Brown, I think it's still going to probably be Romeo Doubs. And that chain moving, matriculate the ball down
I
the
see
field
it as
role.
the Amendola second slot, fourth receiver.
Yeah.
The guy who can expose the matchup when, let's face it, you're going 4 wide, you probably have to pick up some chunk
Just
yardage.
a different type of player. Like, Pop is, a much different player than Efton Chisholm.
Speed over the top.
Yeah, like, which way do you prefer? I think Drake Maye might even prefer the Pop role a little bit more, just because of the down the field element. But Chisholm might be a little bit more versed in this offense, like in terms of finding soft spots and attacking leverages and like understanding all the options and stuff that you're working with inside. That might be more Efton Chisholm's game, but is that Drake May's game? Is that really, what he's trying to look for?
Defenses they're more sophisticated, they're smarter. We all talk about all the rules are bent towards the offense, and that's true, but defenses have adjusted too. And, you don't see every game 40 points because defenses are good. And you have to be able to have those route options and receivers that can take advantage of route options and that are smart football players. And like Evan said, finding those soft spots. And having the football IQ to do that.
No, I think that's the first time in a while where I would say schematically the defenses actually might be ahead of offense in the NFL right now. Obviously, it's certain teams stand out above others in that regard, like Seattle, of course, but like the defenses have caught up, and they've now done some things and started with the Vic Fangio stuff and the 2 high safeties, and then Seattle kind of took that and ran with it and turned it into its own thing. And now we have all these pressure packages and blitzes and things like that are all crazy. And hard to block and hard to decipher. And,
Yeah.
you know, the defenses have gotten really, really sophisticated. And like these systems that we've seen offensively, they're kind of the same systems that they have been for a while now, and they need to start to.
And that kind of
mix it
begs
up.
the issue. It's not really a Patriots thing that needs to be figured out, but a Drake Maye thing that he needs to figure out. And can he take the next step in figuring out defenses?
It's everything to me. I mean, I don't want to overstate it, but I think you spend so much time talking about this and that. Like, if Drake Maye continues to progress as a chess master of this offense and understanding what defenses are doing, recognizing it, you know, having the presence of mind to change plays and, you know, having the ability to do that. I'm sure he had some of it last year, but I just think that's everything. I mean, the kid led the league in completion percentage last year. I mean, he clearly was seeing it pretty well. I think he can go even higher. Not to say that he's going to complete more passes, but
he needs to go higher.
You know, I think you know, looking back at that Seattle game, I think you know it'll be a great comparison just to see what they throw at him when they play him up there in Seattle and how he deals. I mean, let's face it, the noise was kind of like the same it was going to be in Seattle. I was up in the stands. I mean, it was mostly Seattle fans screaming and yelling, but that's, I mean, that throw everything else out. That's what I'm most excited for. But you're not going to know till we get into this.
They've got the new VR room in the new facility, so they got to get him in that lab.
See,
early and often.
Like, right? Like, I mean, that's like, all right, punch up this look, you know, and this is, you know what I mean? And just cycle. And
Reps.
I give, look, Tom Brady's the greatest. And I always say his greatest thing that I don't think anybody can really replicate is just how good he was under pressure and when the game was on the line. That's something that's unique. But I do think that a big part of Tom Brady's game that I give credit to the coaching staff for was understanding defenses and reading defenses and putting your offense in position to expose what the defense is doing. And you hear about Brady talking about this stuff in retirement, about how like he knows Kansas City's defense inside and out. I mean, that to me isn't like something you're born with. That's something that you can be taught and that you can meticulously work at and that you can. Now, it's not easy. You're under the gun. You're getting hit. It's stressful, you know, and people have disguise. But I still think within this system with Josh McDaniels, there's nothing else I'd rather have Drake Maye than operating this. And, you know, like I said, being a chess master, knowing where to put all his pieces. And if you do that, you got A.J. Brown, great. But I still think you can make a lot of noise even with a subpar receiving group.
You know, a guy like Brady, he really had no choice because he doesn't have that escape option.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah,
You
right.
know, that
right.
and so he had to be on top of that.
Yeah.
You know, and I wonder for guys like Maye who have that athleticism and they have that out, you know.
Is that a block to like getting to the point?
Yeah,
I know what
the
you're saying.
urgency isn't there. Like, oh boy, I
Well, if
better
I don't
learn
get it,
this
I'll
or I'm
just
screwed.
tuck
you know?
it and run, right?
So I hope not. I hope, you know, you can do both.
Right.
Now you're the superhero. Now you're Patrick Mahomes.
But that's the key, right? Is doing both. Like
Right.
you don't want to put Drake in a box.
No.
Yeah.
Where like it's like you have to be this Brady
No.
pocket passer.
You want
Yeah.
both.
You know.
Well, that's the thing of like, I don't want to say keeping him engaged, but you know, it's like, feel like you need to be able to play the game your way, and like you need to be able to play to your strengths to feel satisfied, and to try to put him in a box and make him Brady, it's not going to work. But I still think that's the ideal. The brain, he knows it, and he said, hey, you know, now maybe he's even recognizing I'm going to have a wide lane up the middle this time. You know what I mean? He sees these things when he knows he's going to have opportunities to run the ball.
All right. Lots to talk about. 855-PASS-500 is the hotline. Podcast at patriots.com is the way to email us. Calls are coming in. Emails are coming in on this Tuesday here at Gillette Stadium as we await rookie minicamp, which kind of opens on Thursday when we introduce Lomu to the media.
Yeah.
But then officially on Friday, they take the field, and they'll be here all weekend. We'll have access to the practices on Saturday. Let's go to Anthony in Seattle. What's up, Anthony?
Hey, what's up, Fred? Hey, what's up, Deuce, Evan? What's up, my people?
What's
How
up?
you doing?
Hey, I'm doing all right. Hey, first and foremost, I got to express my appreciation for Thursday's show. I mean, it was like we had the draft, then you guys did the Tuesday show and kind of, you know, checked all the boxes, talked about the draft picks, and it kind of felt like, all right, well, now that we got that out of the way, you guys came back Thursday, and we're talking about colonoscopies for pleasure, and, like, Fred almost killed Alex, just, like, laughing for 5 minutes straight. It's like, we're just in full off-season mode, and I'm just loving it. It was beautiful. But, hey, one quick story, Evan, and I'll get off the phone, but, Evan, I just wanted to, so the first time I heard Gabe Akis' name, I was listening to you and Barth on Catch 22, and you guys were talking about how he's just one of those guys who's an a-hole on the field. And Barth said a great line. He said he's a type of guy. He's one of those guys that he wants his opponents to talk about the time they faced Gabe Akis. And I just thought that was a great line. It reminded me of Remember the Titans when he says, they're going to remember forever the night they played the Titans. And so it was
stole that from that.
And it was nice to get him. And then also, so I had texted as the day 2 starts to unfold and some of those names started to come off the board. I had texted in a group chat, one of the group chats that I'm in, and I said, man, I would love for us to get Gabe Akis, but I just don't think he's going to make it to 63. And so for the team to agree basically and move up and go get our guy, you've talked about this in the past. It just feels really good to have a regime who seems to have a feel of the consensus and make picks that make sense. Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, Anthony.
Yeah, he took number 50, so I think we know whose guy he is because he's wearing his number now and Mike Vrabel's number.
Yeah.
So he's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a player that Patriots fans are going to really like just because of how hard he plays and how violent he plays.
Yeah, I did a conference call with Coach Bielema on Friday with Mike Reese and Doug Kide. The three of us talking to him, and he was just glowing about him and his dedication to the craft of pass rushing, and couldn't have been higher on him. His mom said a lot about how great his mom is and just the support network that he has and the family that he comes from. But he seems like he's going to fit the bill of what, Vrabel kind of a guy, a roster need, a locker room presence, a bit of a leader. But he just, it's obvious. You throw on the highlights, you're like, this guy is an animal. It's going to be fun to watch. And, I'm excited to get him up here.
Yeah, I was talking to the Illinois defensive line coach was at BC last year. So he just got to Illinois. And I asked him at the end of the call, I was like, I know you just got to Illinois, but does anybody talk about Akis at all? I'm just curious. And he was like, that guy's like a mythical creature around here. Like everybody's like, he works hard, but he's not working as hard as Gabe Akis. And he was like, who is this Akis guy? And I was telling him about him. I was like,
rookie numbers came out. And guess what number he's wearing?
Yeah.
50. Yes.
Yeah. Wearing Mike Vrabel's number.
Yes.
Suck up. No, I'm only kidding. Gabe,
Do you think,
only kidding.
Do you think that Vrabel called him into his office and was like, "Here, kid, take it, and run"?
It would
with
be an honor for me for you to wear my number.
Yeah.
One of the other things that stood out to me too that it's a good question from Doug of Coach was just in the era of NIL, how did you get him to stay? Because he came right on the scene as a freshman and played a bunch. He's a 4-year player, and it's just another thing where they were able to keep him around. And
and with NIL, it's easier to get them to stay.
Yeah,
they're making money.
He was making, but
he
offers
he
could have gone.
How do you get to stay there instead of going?
He could have gotten some big money.
Stay there, yeah.
So it's just I think all these things point to not only we all see how he plays on the field, but just what kind of kid he is, what kind of loyalty he has to the program. So I'm hopeful it's going to be a slam dunk. It's such a critical position. Been railing on it since last year of edge is a huge need. Didn't end up taking one in the first round, but I still think they got a really good one.
All these guys, a lot of these guys stayed at one school. The Patriot, I forget the exact number. I think it's 7 out of 9 of their draft picks or something.
Raritan wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah, that stayed at one school. Now Raritan was a unique situation, but Lomu was also only 21. He was only in college for 3 years, but he went to Utah, stayed at Utah. Akis went to Illinois, stayed at Illinois. A lot of these guys, you get into these draft research, and it's like, how many schools did this kid went to 4 schools in 4 years, and the Patriots, they all went to one school. They are all married too. It was the two things that little fun anecdotes.
Talk about off-season stuff. We did have a good time on Thursday. Yesterday was May the 4th. May the 4th be with you.
I know.
And a certain someone actually took it very seriously. So a little newsletter teaser.
Mm-hmm.
If you get the newsletter on Friday, you'll find out what happened yesterday. So you want to subscribe to that newsletter, you go to patriots.com/PU newsletter.
Yeah.
And
you got the Mandalorian and Grogu coming out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
We'll see how that is.
So you want to get that newsletter on Friday. Make sure that you're subscribed to it.
There's some bad Star Wars takes every year on May the 4th. People coming out with their rankings and stuff like that. I'm like, this is garbage.
It's not garbage. It's, it's real.
No, I'm saying like their rankings are garbage.
Oh yeah, well
you
that's
know,
why you do it. It's
Yeah.
to have
Generational.
arguments.
Yeah,
I-
it's like, what do you? This is just.
I mean,
terrible.
somebody on I forget either ESPN or NFL. I think it was NFL came up with their top 10 quarterback rankings on rookie contracts. So Drake Maye was number 1.
Yeah.
Sure.
But it was interesting. Mendoza was ahead of some players that are in the league now.
Caleb Williams. I mean,
No, Caleb
No.
Williams was number 2 or something like that.
Is it?
But Mendoza was already
Daniel.
on the list ahead of players who had already played in the NFL.
Yeah.
Thought that was interesting.
Making lists, making debates that were on the
the
off
Star Wars list, like, first of all, I think like the TV shows are separate. Like, you can't rank the TV shows with the movies.
Yeah,
like
sure.
those are like separate things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Right.
And then also like I see yesterday the big talk was that Solo, the one origin story of Han Solo.
Yeah.
Now apparently everybody thinks that was like really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
And like
people
and
did
like
like it.
revisionist history is like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, actually that was like top 3. I'm like,
Well, I don't know about
let's relax.
No,
all right?
I
Like,
mean the Andor show. I mean, we
Andor
talked about
was
that
great.
was excellent. I almost want to go back and watch that because it's just
That
you
was
started it off and you were
outstanding.
like, I don't know what they're setting up, but they really set everything up well. I'll be interested.
I call
to
it
see-
Star Wars for adults.
Yeah.
Andor.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I'll be interested to see how this movie does because I thought The Mandalorian was excellent. Maybe faded out a little bit, but I just feel like they're hammering the Grogu's the cute baby for a while, and I'm like, we've got
It's a
this
little
beat.
cute,
Like, let's
yeah.
move on. Let's make like badass tween Grogu. You know, like he's got power, but he's a little bit reckless. Like,
Right.
can we get it beyond like I don't know which button to push? You know, like that stuff.
and
I'm
all
like,
of a sudden he's doing things with the Force.
right.
and you're
Then
Wait,
he's like
what?
force choking somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. While we're on Star Wars, Rusty and Arlen writes in, I hope you're able to get some Star Wars talk in for the holiday yesterday. Do you think in this current iteration, the Patriots are more like the Rebels still or the Empire? Vrabel doesn't seem like he could be the Emperor, and I don't see Maye as being Vader. At what point in the dynasty did they go from being the Rebels to the
well,
Empire?
I feel like
I
the
don't
person-
think for us, they were always the Rebels,
Well,
right?
I mean,
us against...
this rings special for me because the first thing that I was kind of blogging and writing for Bleacher Report a little bit in 2007, and I wrote this article for Bleacher Report before they were like Bleacher Report. It was all just free work, but I wrote this article that was basically saying we're the Empire now, and let's just embrace it and have fun with it because who cares? You know, like
We were
they're
always
like
the
we're the
Empire.
Empire and everybody else is
Embrace
living on
the hate.
Alderaan. They're living on Alderaan. Embrace the hate was the kind of the mode, and all of a sudden, like somebody texted me or emailed me and was like, I think something you wrote was on Fox Sports. And I'm like, what?
Oh, really?
And so I go to
this
Fox
guy?
Sports. Well, this was the start of it all, Fred. This was like I was just blogging on the side, and then unbeknownst to me, Bleacher Report had just made a deal with Fox, and Fox started picking up some of the content. So you go to Fox Sports, and there's a big picture of Darth Vader, and it's like it's time for Patriots fans to embrace the dark side. And so that was kind of the first thing. I actually have it framed in my house. It was the first because I've been
That's
writing
great.
like screenplays, and you'd spend a year on a screenplay, and like 5 people would read it, and they'd be like, yeah, it was good. Like that's all. But then you write this, and it's like thousands of people are reading it. You're getting comments. I'm like, this is a lot more satisfying. So that was when it all kind of started for me. So Patriots Star Wars was,
I feel like we were always the Empire.
Well, I think
Like,
when
'cause
Belichick put that
Belichick-
hoodie on, he
it's
became
Bill.
the Emperor.
Like he's
Yeah.
just now we are. Yeah, we're the rebels. Like Drake's like Luke. Young, upshot.
But they
Jedi.
weren't in 01. I mean, 01 even through
Yeah.
04, like they were like, these guys are amazing. This is the greatest coach of all time. 07 was when it turned. I mean, that was
Well,
they got Moss. They
the
started hammering
Gates,
everybody.
the
The
Gates.
Spygate thing happens.
You think
Now
that's
it's
it?
just completely turned. That was it for me. I think
Yeah.
that moment.
probably
Yeah. All right.
But it still can be fun.
Christian in L.A., speaking of Darth Vader. What's up, Christian? Christian in L.A. Oh, he had to go. He must be like his
helicopter,
private jet
his
must
jet-
have
his
been
jet
taking
arrived.
off, and he lost Wi-Fi.
He'll call
for a
back when he
second.
gets on the plane.
Yeah, so instead we'll go to New Hampshire. There's Daniel. What's up, Daniel?
What's going on, gentlemen?
Hey, your phone sucks, but keep going.
Oh, sorry about that.
Sounds like
Just
he's in
a few
Star Wars.
questions about the schedule. Just
There's a clone on me.
who do you guys think we're going to open with? Do you guys think we're going to have a lot of primetime games? And do you
Yeah.
think we're going to be favored in a lot of games? And I'll just give my prediction. I think we're going to open up in Buffalo on Sunday night.
Okay.
In the season.
Buffalo Sunday night. Okay. Sounds
So much you
good.
guys got on
I
that.
don't
Not
like that.
Daniel in New Hampshire. Now there's a Wednesday night game this year, right?
But that's
Oh,
Seattle. It's going to be Seattle.
Oh, that's already Seattle.
Well, yeah. But we play Seattle.
Oh, we play
in
Seattle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it won't be Seattle.
Well, could be.
It could be Seattle.
I'd say Broncos. Broncos here. I think that's a good game. I mean, there's some hype on that one. Bo Nix revenge game.
if he's healthy, yeah.
If he's healthy, I know.
Yeah, no, his ankles, like, I don't know. They said that it was like, part of the thing, but they had to go back in and do another little procedure on his
hate that
ankle.
stuff?
So
Will we get the max primetime games right out of the gate, which I think is 5?
I think absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. I mean, I would say the Broncos will be a
You're
prime
telling
time.
me.
At least one of the Bills, possibly the Seahawks, maybe the Jaguars, maybe the Chiefs. Chargers.
Yeah, I
probably away games.
it
Let's
depends.
tell Paul we have 10 primetime games. He may never come back from Italy. He might just stay.
Buongiorno,
Like,
people.
do you count because I do think that like Thanksgiving is in play.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
Christmas
Christmas
is
Day
in play.
I think
So those aren't-
Germany's in play.
Yeah.
So those aren't primetime games necessarily, but they're spotlight games. They're island
yeah.
games
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
are interrupting life.
I kind of like the. I mean, not for the people who have to go to the games on the overseas, but
Oh, yeah.
for being in the
Thanks for
U.S. when
caring
you have
about
an
it.
international game and you have that like 9:30 start time, it's a little flashback to Pacific time. Like those early, I love those early morning start times.
When we flew back from London, when we went to the Jaguars game, old friend Yannick gave me like some like European sleeping pill. I within 30 seconds I knocked out, and I woke up and we were like, and he just started laughing. He just looked at me and he was like, "That stuff works, huh?" And I was like, "What did you just give me?"
I need
Like,
that
and
for every time I fly.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, there was like 30 minutes left in the flight when I finally woke up.
It's not the
It was-
dream.
It was
You
great.
zonk out and then you just bing.
That's what happened to me
approaching
going
our
to
final
China.
descent.
Yeah,
I took Ambien.
Yeah.
I was on one of those, it was China Air, I think, or Korean Air, and I was in business class sitting up. When I woke up, we were landing. They had laid my seat flat, covered me up, taken my shoes off with a pillow. Like they took care. I don't remember a thing of it. All I remember is sitting there, falling asleep, and then waking up in Beijing.
Remember?
It was great.
It's like in
pants
the
were
Wolf
off.
of
I don't
Wall
know.
Street when they're like strapped down to the seats and they wake up. They're like, "What did I do?"
Tyler in Georgia, during last week's discussion about players who peaked their rookie year, a potentially controversial name came to mind. While Devin McCourty was a very good safety for this team for a very long time, he never lived up to the star corner he appeared to be his rookie year.
Oh, that's a bad one.
That's a bad take.
Yeah, Devin McCourty's a great player for a very
But
long
he was
time.
talking about cornerback.
Well, yeah, but he moved to safety and was like,
I know, but he
gonna be-
specifically said he never lived up to be the star corner.
I mean,
He led the league. He led the league in with interceptions his rookie year.
yeah, but that's kind of semantic. I mean, like, you guys can wear.
It's not semantics. It's what he led the league.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that Devin McCourty didn't live up to it because
Because
he
he was a
didn't
great
play-
safety instead of a great
corner.
corner.
Is kind of semantics. Like, guy's gonna wear a red jacket.
Oh,
Like, I'm
yeah.
not gonna say that he was a bad player.
I don't think he's saying that either. I think he said he just didn't live up to being a great cornerback.
Well, I mean, he was.
But then he
drafted
moved
at-
to safety and was a great safety.
Yeah.
Okay, why?
What do you mean? I don't understand.
Why did he move to safety?
Because he was better safety.
Right.
Well, I
In
think
this league, if you can play corner, you play corner.
I just don't know what difference it makes. Like, he was a great player for 10 years. Like, what
I think you're nitpicking. I think you're not taking the spirit of the email. The email was he was drafted as a cornerback. He played a year at cornerback, and they decided to move him to safety.
No, I understand that, but I just don't understand. Like, we were talking about guys that flamed out. In
Oh
the
yeah, well
NFL.
he certainly didn't flame out.
Yeah.
He doesn't go into that category.
Yeah, but that was what the premise of the discussion was
Yeah.
guys that came out of the gate hot and then flamed out.
Yeah, he
I
didn't
would-
flame out.
I think
as a
there's some-
football player.
Yeah,
I think there's some layers to it too, though. Where when they drafted him, I think they were a very zone-heavy team, and they were asking him just not to man guys up, not to be Stephon Gilmore, but as a free safety. I mean, it's a great thing because I feel like it's kind of a ball knower question because he doesn't have gaudy stats, he doesn't have a lot of
Yeah.
interceptions, but the guy who kept everybody on the same page was part of the trio of safeties that they had that covered everything.
And
You
it
know,
looked
they worked
different when he wasn't
together,
out there.
you know.
in the few games that he missed, it you could tell.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
made a difference.
And I mean the leadership and all that stuff
Yep.
too. But I mean, he was also drafted near the end of the first round, and I don't know. I've seen guys like Rossai Dowling was probably picked like 7 picks after Devin McCourty the next year, and he couldn't play anything. It's so I don't know. It's hard to kind of
I'm just saying that like I wouldn't put Devin McCourty in any categories of like he was a disappointment, in
Right,
any
right.
sort of way.
Yeah.
Well, if you're hoping he would be a cornerback, he was.
I guess so. I don't know.
But I don't think I was
I'll
ever
take
thinking
Devin
he was going to
McCourty
be
on
a
my team.
shot. I mean,
Sure.
he was a
Yeah.
controversial pick, though, a little bit. I mean, I
He
literally
wa-
remember.
He was a little bit. Paul disagrees.
Yeah.
But I remember distinctly, back then, I think for the draft, the kind of media room was the press box.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when the pick came, and a lot of people like, what?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's true.
I was a crazy blogger at that time, and I remember, being on Twitter, and Shalice Banza Young, like, I said I like the pick. She came and like, well, you don't have a problem with like a guy who mostly played special teams, or
Right.
like that was the angle on him. So I don't know. When you look at it through, had he been like the 7th overall pick, and you're expecting him to be Stephon Gilmore, and he had to move to safety, and he, but I think he's just a good defensive back, and they found the right spot for him.
Yeah. I just have, I don't know. Maybe I have more appreciation for him than other people. I feel like that Devin McCourty was a great Patriot for a very long time.
I think the two things can be true. He was a great Patriot, great guy, but he couldn't. They thought he couldn't play corner.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true, right?
That's true. Yeah. I just feel like that's like putting it. It's fine.
I
just feel like that.
it doesn't matter, but
It's just making it sound like he was like a disappointment.
He's a fine safety.
Yeah,
guy,
like, all
we
right.
really would have loved to have him, be
Yeah.
shut down corner.
John in Louisiana, first shout out to Gronk, and secondly, shout out to the idiot out in L.A. saying people didn't realize how tough Gronk was. He should be banned from calling in for a week. But I also see Devin McCourty is eligible for the Hall next year, and I want to apologize in advance, Freddie. Oh, so he's saying that's going to be another year where Vinatieri doesn't get in because people are going to go for.
He failed, he
emails
failed
like-
that corner. So
yeah, right.
maybe
That's what
not.
I mean. Emails like that made me think like he can't even play corner. Of course, we're going with the kicker.
So, knowing the fans, assuming that McCourty gets nominated by the committee, do you think in the fan vote he beats out Vinatieri or Welker or?
I don't.
I don't.
You don't?
I think it's
No.
close. I think it's going to be a close.
And if he
one.
does, then we hit like the recency bias has really
bias.
infected all of us. Like I just got mad at that emailer about Devin McCourty. Like Adam Vinatieri had a much better NFL career than Devin McCourty did. Like one's in Canton and one is not going to sniff Canton.
Yeah.
So I mean Adam Vinatieri was a much better player at his position than Devin McCourty was.
Who was a better Patriot? Because it's the Patriots Hall of Fame.
That's true.
I mean, his
that's
foot won
hard.
2 directly. I mean, greatest kicker.
I mean, playing your
That's a
whole
hard
career in one team
Yeah.
makes a
Yeah.
difference to fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
mean
know?
Devin
And
didn't
they both
have
won 3, right?
the Snow Bowl kick and the Super Bowl 36
I agree.
game winners and like those iconic
Well,
moments.
to me, it's a slam dunk.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm.
But when you look at like snaps played, like you know
or
what I
just
mean?
look at like who you would want to be president. Like, and like I'd vote for Devin McCourty, but like
yeah.
I don't know if like that really counts. Like he was obviously a fantastic person, but I don't know if that's what we're really talking about here.
Let's go to the aforementioned person from L.A. who should be banned for a week for saying people didn't know how tough Gronk was. It's Christian in L.A.
You see how it is to be Darth Vader? Do you see the life I live over here?
Oh,
I did not say people don't realize how it is to how tough Gronk was. They don't realize how tough it was to play with the hurt back because most people aren't 270 pounds and have to play with the hurt back from the beginning of their career. That's what I said. But anyway, on to the Star Wars stuff. Yes, I am an absolute Star Wars nerd, and I dressed up yesterday, and we sat around and watched a whole series of movies, and I realized that there's a connection to the Patriots in this way. There's an inflection point in Star Wars. It's when Qui Jin is talking to the slave owner about buying Anakin and his mom. He says, "I'll trade you all the winnings from the race to buy the kid, to take the kid and the mom." And the guy goes, "No, it's not worth 2 slaves." It's at this point that Qui Jin decides he's not going to say, "Okay, well, take this droid too, or I'll just buy her," and keep Anakin together with his mom. Had he done that, Anakin does not become Darth Vader, and the whole Star Wars universe changes. That's the inflection point in Star Wars. Here we are now. We just made it to the mountaintop, right? We're here. We just added one of the best receivers in the game, and I don't think people are really giving us credit for the rest of this stuff.
we had the number one quarterback in the league, number one top-rated quarterback in the league. We had a top-rated running game, which is going to get better because we just got more protection for the quarterback and better blockers for those running backs. We have a top-rated defense who just got better because we just got an impact beast on the outside. Couple that with, we had the coach of the year and the assistant coach of the year. So we took this whole big ball of stuff and we gave him A.J. Brown, and we put a incredible receiver underneath that can break defenses, stretch the field, and move the chains. The inflection point is this. If we get A.J. Brown, I believe we become a elite team for the next 5+ years. If we don't, I think we stay sort of middling and keep struggling to get back where we were last year. Thank you, guys. I love the team. I'm so happy about this season coming up. I'm pumped up now, and I think we're going back to the NFC championship.
Okay. I was impressed by his Star Wars knowledge anyway.
Well, he's Qui-Gon.
Couple
Qui-Gon,
things.
not
I didn't want
Qui-Jin.
to. He was
Qui-Gon
he,
Jinn,
he was
but,
rolling,
and
so
it's
I didn't.
Watto.
A couple things though, like
details.
some things I agree with. Some things I think he's overstating a little bit. A top-rated running game, for example.
Yeah.
Not sure about that. Yeah, I mean, if they get A.J. Brown, I think that definitely improves them. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, AJ like 5+, like AJ Brown's going to be here for like, he's here for 2 years.
Yeah, you're lucky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's going to be a long time. So
I kind of lost the metaphor though. Was he saying like we're gonna give up
too
much for like?
I think
like if we just
I'm
didn't give up
correctly,
anything for Anakin, like everything would be fine.
No, if I'm following correctly, I think AJ Brown is Anakin's mom, and so if we don't, if we don't get AJ Brown, then we're gonna be risking going in a bad direction.
Oh. I thought it was the opposite. I thought he was anti AJ Brown.
I think he needs the kid needs the mom.
Yeah.
That's what he wouldn't have turned dark if mom doesn't die.
Well, in fairness, if Qui-Gon doesn't die, Obi-Wan was overmatched trying to raise the kid. He wasn't prepared for that. I think Qui-Gon would have done a better job. Maybe he wouldn't have gone to the dark side. They would have actually trained him rather than
and
kind of
Natalie
given
Portman could have done a much better job.
Right.
Too.
Well,
she
I don't know. Star Wars is all about destiny, so I don't think there was any stopping him.
That's true.
That's a good point, Fred. That's what I was kind of thinking, but he was rolling. So
all right, time to take a break, but we got a lot of really interesting emails coming in, more calls. We'll do that right after this.
Come welcome our newest restaurant additions at Patriot Place. Estella brings a celebration of flavors with a modern fusion menu, exciting cocktails, and brunch available daily beginning at 11 a.m. Enjoy freshly brewed coffee and Mediterranean-inspired breakfast and lunch from Angel's Cafe. Craving the classics? Chick-fil-A makes it easy to grab your favorite with mobile through, carry-out, and dine-in options. Download the Patriot Place Advantage app for special offers and to earn rewards every time you visit. Patriot Place. Shop, dine, enjoy.
The heaviest metal credit card of all time. Wielded at business dinners like a samurai sword. It's a classic corporate power move. But the real power move? Having end-to-end visibility on your most critical shipments. FedEx, the new power move.
Whether you're in the game or betting on the game, you'll need a game plan. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots, provides you with everything you need to build your personal betting game plan so you can get in on all the action while practicing safe bets. Visit DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming to learn more about all the safe betting tools DraftKings has to offer. Hope is here, 800-327-5050 or gamblinghelplinema.org. Must be 21 plus. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com. Physically present in Massachusetts. See DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
If you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right.
DraftKings is all about responsible gaming. It's more fun when it's for fun. So play responsibly. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. RKK, one of the greatest owners in all of sports. What he has done for the Patriots franchise is just undescribable, just because he has done so much. And he left me a voicemail yesterday, and I listened to it at about 10:30 p.m. last night, and started tearing up a little bit. I mean, it's just such a prestigious honor to be inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame, especially as a first ballot, and to do it, after so many others have led the way. Tom 2 years ago, Julian last year. You got the Teddy Bruschi's, the Willie McGinnis, just so many guys that are just so great, and to be in the same category as them, it is just an absolute honor. There's no doubt about that. But when I listened to the voicemail last night, it was a very special one that I'm going to keep the voicemail forever. It's one of the only few voicemails I'll keep for the rest of my life.
Thanks and congratulations.
Thank you, Chris.
Next will be Karen Garigian, followed by Chris Ryan.
Hey, Rob, congrats.
Thanks, Karen.
Are you on a boat?
Yes, I'm on a boat right now. I'm down in Florida, and I just got this new boat. It's a pontoon boat, single engines, nothing fancy, but let me tell you, they're the best boats, and they ride really nice. And today's my first day on it, so I'm actually learning right now how to park it and how to drive it, and it's going really well. I'm already in the Hall of Fame with driving boats.
That's cool. I want to ask you, outside of winning championships, what was the best thing to come out of being in New England and playing for the Patriots in your mind?
Just learning how, to get things done in life as a team. I mean, you learn so much with the game of football, but especially in the New England era that I was in. I mean, it was all about team. It was all about doing your best. It was all about, being reliable and having the trust within your teammates and gaining their trust as well. And how you do that is by going out to practice and being great every single day and being consistent, and showing that you're there for a reason. And the reason is, to do your job and to do it at such a high level. And then you take that. What you really learn from that is that you can apply that to the, real world after that. Because sports isn't real world. It really isn't. We are very lucky and blessed to have the skill set that we had, that we have to be able to go out and perform, and show our athletic skills for, the game of football. And now that that's gone, don't have those skills anymore to that degree. Now I can apply what I learned in life through the game of football and through the organization of the New England Patriots. And that's to give back, to the community. But at the same time, it's also how to do your job at such a high level and be a reliable teammate in this world.
Thanks, Rob.
Yes, thank you.
We'll go Chris Ryan, followed by Sophie Weller.
Hey, Rob, congrats.
Hey, thank you.
Want to ask you this. There's so many folks that have kind of a preconceived idea as to who you are and what your legacy is. From your perspective, now that you think back about this accomplishment and the awards and honors still to come, how do you want fans to view who you were as a player and as a person and your impact?
Well, as a player, there's no doubt about it that I want to be viewed as a football player, not even just a tight end or a guy that catches passes, catches touchdowns. I want to be viewed as a football player. The definition of a football player, someone that goes out and puts their body on the line at any given time, someone that plays the game at full speed on any given play and makes the big plays in crucial moments when your number is called. That's the type of guy I want to be remembered out on the field. And makes big impacts, on big time plays in big time moments as well. So that's how I see myself and how I would love to be viewed, on the football field. And also as a solid teammate in the locker room, because in order to be a good football player, you got to be a good teammate as well, because you got to gain the trust in your teammates in order for that ball to be thrown my way, to make those big plays and to show my skills and to be that football player. In order to get those opportunities, you have to be a good football player, and a good teammate. And that's what it's all about. And off the field, I learned a lot with the New England Patriots, RKK, the Patriots Foundation, giving back every single Tuesday. And off the field, Just a guy that's, doing his best and making mistakes. There's no doubt about that. But also learning from your mistakes and being the best that you can possibly be and being reliable for people, at any given time that you give your word to them. But, you grow as well. A guy that has grown, I want to see. And that when you do get knocked down, and people have seen I've got knocked down plenty of times, you can always bounce back. You can always find that grit and strength to bounce back and become a better player that you were on the field and off the field.
Sophie Miller, followed by Mike Reese.
Hi, Rob. Congratulations. I was just curious, what was Jules' reaction to hearing the news that you got into the Patriots Hall of Fame?
Yes, Jules just gave me a little, voicemail text message thing. He loves those. He lives and dies for them. And usually I read them, but I listened to this one. But he congratulated me big time, and it was just really cool. And I just wrote him back, and I said 2 guys in 2010 were at Splash as my going in my rookie year. That were at Splash. It was a nightclub, and I was taking shrimp off of a tray when the waitress wasn't looking, and I was eating them. I wrote 2 idiots back in 2010. Now going back to back in the Patriots, Hall of Fame, both of us first round inductees. So it was just cool to hear from Julian. And he also just gave me props and just being the player that I was, and just said, hey, it was a complete honor to play with a complete football player, a guy that brought it every single day. So Julian got in last year, so I wanted to copy him this year.
And now, great moments in history.
Well, I have to leave you, gents,
Where are you going?
a tad early to do some of my television responsibilities.
Is that why you got the shiny shirt on today?
I am going. I'm going
clubbing.
Yeah.
Be sure to tune in to Paul Perillo today.
Denny
from 4 to
Terrio.
5.
It's probably not a great one to listen
No,
to today.
don't be sure not to turn.
It'd be like Paulie the Dancing Bear trying to keep himself
you're
out
gonna
of
navigate.
trouble.
We'll be listening.
This will be a tough one. This is one that I always fear when I come in on Thursday morning that Fred's waiting for me. It's like Jonathan.
We got to walk down to the West Wing.
Jonathan wants to talk to you. So that's always my fear. I remember I saw Fred at about 2:00 last Thursday. I was like, anybody say anything? He goes, what do you mean? I go, about me. He goes, about what? I go, like being on the radio. No, I go, sounds good. Let's move it along.
You gotta be like the guys on Cut Down Day when they try to avoid the guy.
Yeah. But with that shirt, Paul, can I make one suggestion? Unbutton one button, put on a Coke spoon. I think you'll be right there.
Yeah,
it's a
good
perfect
call.
shirt for that.
Taking fashion advice
from this guy.
From the stain police.
That's another great moment from
All right, welcome back to Patriots Unfiltered. 855-PATS-500 is the hotline. Podcast at patriots.com is the email address. Emails are coming in fast and furious. Bart in Poland says, Evan, please scold Barth on Catch 22 tomorrow.
What did he do?
Last Wednesday, he said that he doesn't expect Yakus to get 17 to 19 sacks a year, but it's realistic to expect him to reliably get you 11, 13, 14 sacks a year. If Gabe Yakus averages 13 sacks a year, that would mean he became the best pass rusher in the league. If he averaged 17 sacks per game, he would be the undisputed GOAT. For example, Myles Garrett never had more than 16 sacks in a season before last year and only 2 above 14. Here are some all-time edge rushers in their per-season sack average.
I think I get the idea,
Yeah.
I don't
T.J. Watt, 13. Reggie White, 13. Bruce Smith.
He might have exaggerated. I understood what he was. Usually, I feel like double digits is where, that's the line, right? Like, the really good guys get over double digits consistently.
Yeah.
So, is he a double-digit sack guy? You hear that a lot. I don't know if he is. He's not necessarily that kind of player.
It's a lot to ask from somebody.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he will. I hope that he'll have some peak seasons where Gabe Yakus has more than double-digit sacks, but I don't know if he's going to have that many of them.
I was laughing at Barth because we put out the graphic
just
with
easy to laugh at Barth. It's fine.
the graphic with the rookie numbers, and Barth retweeted it and said, "Good choices across the board."
No notes.
What 74 Lomu? He's like, yep, I'm feeling that one. I mean, 50 Yakus, great, but I don't know, 82 Raritan. I mean, 88, I would have been a little more excited about.
I feel like 50 was the only because he took Vrabel's number.
Yeah,
that
was it. That won
registered.
it. He's like, I'm really liking Quintavious Hutchins in 45. That's working for me for sure. Across the board, no notes.
Well, it was funny because like I said, oh, like Gabe Akis took 50, Mike Vrabel's number, and somebody replied it and was like, and Rob Ninkovich, and I was like, okay, but he's not the coach of the team. like obviously the interesting thing here is that he took the head coach's number. I mean, I could really care less about the numbers as long as the wide receiver is not wearing 17. We're good.
All right, that's
it.
Sean in Petaluma, California. Hey, Fred, if Evan owns beachfront property on Larison Island, then I'm the mayor of the damn island.
No.
I saw Larison's college career firsthand out here on the West Coast, saw him make those one-handers in his college highlight tape. Hell, I bought his signed rookie card on eBay. So, Evan, congrats on your beachfront property. The real estate prices on Larison Island are going to skyrocket this season.
I love it. We haven't had an election yet, so I don't know if we can vote you mayor, but
self-voted.
You can definitely run if you want to put your name on the ballot. We're taking applicants, but it's a fun island. It's like me and like 2 other people. It's great.
I'm interested in it too. I don't know. He's one of those guys that didn't really clock a lot last year, and I wasn't really.
Yeah, we decided that we would allow there's a beach club. If you want a beach pass, we'll give you one of those. You don't want to buy property yet. You're not ready for that yet.
You just better hope that if he does make the team and we get to interview him during the season in our thing, I mean, this is going to be a whole bit. We're gonna,
I know.
talk
I'm gonna have to explain it to him.
You have an island. Are you aware of this?
Yeah.
Austin and Lubbock, Texas. Hey, you guys. Some people think they're Darth Vader, but they're really Jar Jar Binks. I think I know who he's talking about.
Jar Jar.
That was a misplay.
Oh, Jar Jar.
Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Classic misplay.
I think Phantom Menace is better. I like the resurgence of Phantom Menace that it's
because of the trade dispute. It's like what's going on in the world right now.
Yeah, right. It's like exactly the plot of the universe.
We're blocking
but you can't rewrite Jar Jar. Like that was bad.
No.
It was bad.
I was so excited because I was like finishing up college when that one came out. Like I remember I bought the soundtrack. Like I was listening to the Duel of the Fates, which is let's face it, that's a banger. That's an all-time banger.
I mean, the Maul lightsaber fight is one
that
of the
part
best.
great. And they showed a lot of clips of that, and I was like, this is looking good. And then like the first 20 minutes, you're like, what the hell is going on? Like this isn't stuff, like it opens up with just 2 guys. Like usually it's a battle,
It was very political, and it was kind of like Andor before Andor.
But like a bad version with Jar Jar.
Okay, bad versions.
I kind of find it unwatchable. There is I think it's called the Phantom Edit, which I think somebody went through and cut out all the politics of it and just have essentially them and Maul and
I don't
Sidious
know.
and all that
the
stuff.
opening scene's kind of cool though. They're sneaking around the ship and they
the lightsaber can go through a thing.
They fight the droids and I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah, fair. I mean, look, you can like what you like. I grew up on Empire Strikes Back, and that'll always be my favorite.
I mean, that's the GOAT, no doubt.
Yeah. But I've grown to appreciate.
Why do people like Empire Strikes Back so much? Was it the battle scene?
Well, I think great Hoth battle. You open with a great battle, and I think it emotionally pulls you. Your feel for Han Solo. I mean, I still remember the feeling of being in the theater and being like, they're flying. When Lando and Chewie go to get, and they're like, we'll find Han, and they're going like, that's it. Like we're just left in limbo. Han Solo's freaking frozen in carbonite, and we don't.
Well, it's a true cliffhanger.
I think it was a great cliffhanger, and it's the second act, and it's a little darker, and Luke gets his hand cut off, and it's just. I think that was what was cool about it. It just didn't feel like that kiddie movie. It felt like, they're really in a tough battle.
Yeah. I mean, when the door opens and Vader's just standing there,
Jeez, that's a movie I think we know. When you remember seeing it in the theater, any movie, and you remember your reaction. I remember Mad Max, the new one that what's Fury Road?
Yeah.
Fury Road. I saw that one. I was like, oh my god. The Dark Knight. Seeing that one in the theater was like, oh my god. But that's, I think, the sign of a great movie when you just remember the visceral feeling you had, the reaction in the theater when you first saw it.
Yep. Let's see, Anthony, about when we became the enemy. When we played the Chargers in the wild card last year, there was a lot of talk about the 06 divisional game where there was a lot of back and forth, and we were mocking their celebration. It was the Sean Merriman celebration.
That's a good shout-out.
How much of that played a role into us being the villain?
That was a good shout-out, and pretty sure Mike Vrabel was in the middle. I think first sack of the game, Vrabel was doing
the
we
Sean
got it
Merriman.
started. He was the one I think that started, and then it was Ellis Hobbs.
Vrabel had no qualms about making, remember when he caught against the Eagles, making fun of them?
Yep. No, he keeps receipts. He remembers what your little celebrations are. He'll throw them in your face. But that's a good shout out. because I distinctly remember kind of feeling like, the Chargers, like, you did the dance on our logo.
Herm is in D.C. What's up, Herm?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey,
Herm.
I want to take it in a little, not weird direction, but I guess in a different direction too. So,
please.
Obviously, me personally, I'm super excited about Gabe Yakis and Eli Raridan.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I thought about it, and I don't know if it's a coincidence that tight end that used to play basketball, right? So obviously Hunter Henry, Gronk, I think Antonio Gates was a really good basketball player, Tony Gonzalez. They usually seem to be really good to great tight ends, right? So my question to you all is this. I don't know if maybe Evan can really answer it because he doesn't have kids yet, but is there something to being a dual athlete that makes you better at one particular sport versus specializing in a sport when you're younger? Does it make sense?
Yeah.
It does, and there's a lot of back
big.
and forth on that. A lot of really good athletes tell kids you should play more than one sport.
Yeah,
But
I would say
I think if you're a good athlete, you want to play more. It's like the aptitude comes early in a lot of different sports. So variety is the spice of life. Why would you specialize in one thing when you can have fun playing all of them?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say if you pulled the locker room, the overwhelming majority of players would say to play multiple sports.
Right.
Obviously the quarterback played multiple sports and Drake played basketball at a really high level. And some people thought that he could have played basketball at North Carolina if he wanted to, but he was so focused on football that he didn't. So, he's talked about basketball and he said that probably the biggest thing is wanting that final shot, that pressure of you have the ball in your hands, there's the clock's winding down, and that's sort of what it's like as a quarterback is you have the ball and it's your game in the palm of your hand. So I think there's a lot of skill involved that translates, but also a lot of just gamesmanship type stuff that translates as well. So I think the vast majority of those guys would say to play multiple sports and have played multiple sports.
Yeah, that was another thing Bielema said was Akis and wrestling. And he just has such an understanding of leverage. And the second a guy gets off balance, he's going to the ground because Akis will feel it and he'll just chuckle.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I need some Fred Akis wrestling talk at some point this year. We need to get
maybe we can clear the
wrestling
room
talk.
and we can get a little.
We're in singlets,
the singlets we can not do the singlets, but
we'll attach a mic to one of those ear guard things.
Yeah.
It'll be the full thing. It'll be the Fred wrestling show. Fred and
tell you,
Gabe.
wrestling shoes are very comfortable.
Kids wore them all the time in high school. That was like a shoe to have.
Yeah.
Growing up.
Oh, kids wore them in high school?
Yeah, they had just wear them around.
That's kind of lame to me.
Well,
it's like wearing your cleats, in my opinion.
Oh, God.
Thanks, Herm. Appreciate the call. Dan's in New Jersey. What's up, Dan?
Hey, guys. Haven't spoke to you since Santa Clara, I think.
Oh, sorry.
I typically go into my football hibernation for a few months. So
wow, welcome back.
Okay, you've come out, and now you're ready to eat.
Coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't have a football question per se, but I haven't listened, obviously, but have you talked at all about Celtics, Bruins, and Red Sox? Because
out of respect to Evan, no.
Thanks, dude.
Boston, are we becoming the New York Yankees of sports, and that we can't get past, we pretty good regular seasons, get to the first round, and then flame out, of course,
Well,
it's at least got.
We got to the Super Bowl. There's something there.
Woe is us.
I understand.
Yeah.
We haven't had a parade in 2 full years.
Yeah. No, listen, it's tough to win every year and go deep in the playoffs, but it's last few days were some tough days for Boston sports. Celtics first round, Bruins first round. You fire half your coaching staff. Red Sox, they've been a big disappointment, although they won last night. Kind of weird, but it's tough.
So I guess my question, I usually think about this in the context of the Red Sox, but I guess it could apply to any sport. Would you rather, if you had your druthers, and I know how you like druthers, but if you could be good for 1 year, championship caliber, and then suck the other 4, or would you rather be, good enough
The
to make the
Steelers.
playoffs every year, which would you take?
I think I would take that championship. If it's only 4 years, if you tell me like it's going to be decades before you're good again, then obviously I don't take that. But if I can win a championship and then suck in 4 years, but rebuild after that, I'll take that championship. They're hard to come by. They're hard to come by.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, and we're spoiled here. I'm not getting ready to jump off the bridge or anything.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I think we're
Yeah.
all exaggerating a little bit how bad things are in Boston right now.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
It's frustrating though.
I think the only team
Frustrated.
that's really in bad shape right now is the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Like the Red Sox are not in a good place as an organization, but the Celtics are gonna be fine. The Bruins, they got a long way to go too, but I think they're building. And the Patriots were just in the Super Bowl, so it was a tough weekend in terms of the results of the games, but I don't really, I think we're all kind of losing the plot a little bit here with like how dark a time it is for Boston sports.
There's a lot of cities that would just love to make it to the playoffs, Now, I think the Celtics were a huge disappointment.
Yeah.
I mean, huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Wow.
And I made a prediction maybe on this show, certainly around the office months ago.
Yeah.
So this isn't a new thing. This isn't a new take for me, that next year one of the Jays on the Celtics will not be a Celtic.
What do you think, Kev? Do you think they're gonna try to make some dramatic moves in the Celtics at all? I mean, he just kind of.
I think that they always really planned on taking a step back last year without Jason Tatum, obviously, and they.
Well, wait a minute. Once Tatum got hurt, expectations got a little down, right?
They cut $200 million out of their payroll.
But things changed, right? They were the number 2 seed and expected to go.
But I think it's a little bit like the Patriots, just because people hate when we talk about other sports, so I'll make it a little bit about the Patriots. The Patriots made it to the Super Bowl, but they weren't a Super Bowl team. The Celtics had a really good regular season that was kind of unexpected. Their win total was like 41.5.
You don't think they were a championship quality team by the end of the season?
No.
Oh, you're a green teamer to the end.
How is that?
You're making excuses.
I literally just said they weren't a championship caliber team, and that makes me a green temer?
Yeah, because the green teamers right now are making excuses for being knocked out in the first round. They are.
No, getting knocked out in the first round is a failure.
The Celtics were the best team in the East.
Okay, I mean,
were they not?
No, like the Knicks just beat the Sixers last night by 30, and the Sixers beat the Celtics.
Well, somebody's got to beat somebody.
Well, okay, but like they just how could the Celtics beat the best team in the East?
Should the Sixers have beaten the Celtics?
No, I literally just said that.
Okay, but you're making a big deal because the Knicks,
you're not letting me finish my sentence.
You're making a big deal because the Knicks beat a team that the Celtics should have beaten.
Okay, because you just said the Celtics were the best team in the East, and the Knicks just beat the Sixers by 30, who just beat the Celtics.
Right, because the Celtics blew it.
The Celtics blew it.
Not because the Sixers are suddenly this great team. It's because the Celtics blew it.
The Celtics
admit it. They blew it.
If I could talk, I would admit it.
Admit it.
No, now I'm not going to talk anymore.
Tough time with Tatum. That's tough with Tatum, though, right? I mean, the timing of
I'm
that.
not Barth. I'm no pushover.
Well, if you keep just yelling over me, then I can't say anything.
Okay.
That's how it works.
Yeah, like I'm not going to yell over you. Like.
Well, you don't answer my question.
Because you won't let me.
I'm not going to let you go on and on and on.
I'm not going to let you make a point.
Right.
No, on the Bruins side of it, though, I have to say I was not that disappointed because I don't think they're that good.
Exactly what I was
disappointed.
I don't think they're that good.
Yeah, I'm just saying, we've been talking about it all year, dude. Like all year, I'm like, I watch them. They're spunky, but I just don't. They're not. I know what it looks like when they're good and they're not good.
They're not good.
Like we knew.
That's also
Revolution are in second place.
What's that?
Yeah,
said the Revolution are in second.
There we go. Let's go.
Big win this weekend over my cousin's team. I don't know, man. I know people are like. I saw a lot of like the Bruins outlook's great for the Bruins, and I'm like, is it though? Like
let's see if the ping pong balls go their way.
Yeah.
Now that's a team that I wasn't that surprised at what happened.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I think we did the exact same thing with the Celtics that we did with the Patriots. I'm being dead serious. Yeah. The goalpost moved like midway through the season
because there was evidence to move the goalpost.
Correct. And then when the Celtics choked, which they did, it's bad, but that doesn't change like your outlook long term of the direction the team is going in. Like they were never planning on contending last year. That was never the plan. If they were planning on contending, then why did they trade Kristaps Porzingis and Drew Holiday and let Al Horford leave and let Luke Cornett leave. Like, they let half their rotation walk out the door.
Because of money.
Right, because they were resetting because it was a gap year.
So
They were
how are you going to
resetting.
reset now?
Well, they have some. I mean, like, do we really want to get? It's not Celtics Unfiltered.
No, I know.
Like,
Sorry, we got
like
time.
I have like
we could talk colonoscopy.
yeah. So like now that they're not into the tax and into the aprons anymore, they're not hard capped anymore. So the Celtics can now have the freedom to now make trades and make moves like they didn't before because they were hard capped at the second apron. So they can go out there and do a bunch of different things now. You know, they could make sizable but marginal moves like adding an actual starting center, which I think is priority number one. Or they could like go out and trade for Giannis. Like they could do that.
I think they will make a big move, and it's going to involve one of the Jays.
What do you think? Was Tatum going to be available? You think if they had moved on, would he have been able to come back?
That's
or was
what he
this kind of
said.
a thing?
That's what he said. And like, you know, the one thing that I will go green teamer on, because me saying that they weren't actually good enough to win is I don't know how that makes me a green teamer. But one thing I'll go green teamer on. Like Jason Tatum, like them sitting Jason Tatum in Game 7 was the right thing to do. Yeah. Like that's your franchise. If he goes out there in Game 7 and blows out his other Achilles, like that's now like you just blew up the next 3 years of your organization. Like you can't do that. You can't for round one. If it was Game 7 of the NBA Finals, like maybe that's a different story. But to get out of the first round of the playoffs, you're going to risk him rupturing his other Achilles. That makes no sense.
Well, obviously they didn't need him. They didn't need any of their players. They started all their backups.
The coach had a terrible season.
As somebody who watched their first Celtics game of Game 7 of the year, I was like, who are these guys?
I was just like, what is he doing?
I'm hearing names that I remember.
What point are we trying to prove here?
He had a terrible series, like from start to finish.
Yeah.
You know, they
overthinking.
All season long, they played like 10 guys. And they'd have these guys come off the bench like Garza and Baylor Shireman and Hugo that would just come in with all this energy.
Yeah. Right.
And they would just, for 4 or 5 minute spurts, they would just take the game over, which is pure hustle and energy. And then in the playoffs, they went to like a much smaller playoff rotation, which is what you normally do when you have a really, really good team. Like when they were 2 years ago when they had a stacked roster, that's what you do. But the whole like DNA of the team was like, we're going to play 10 guys and we're just going to run you out of the building. And then they got into the playoffs and they played like 8 guys. And then they went away from all those guys. And in Game 7, he was like, oh crap, I screwed up. So then he started playing all the guys again, but they've all been sitting on the bench for 2 weeks. So they weren't ready to go. So it was an epic failure. It was and like the coach is the most to blame out of it because he just got, I don't know what.
He's safe?
He's going to be safe.
Well,
like,
there's a duality.
Yeah.
He's out to lunch. I don't know. Like the rotations and the substitution patterns in the playoffs were ridiculous.
I heard Felger's thing about they shoot way more threes. I know that's always been a thing. Do you agree with that though? Is that I mean, is that their style that they just need to play to win, or is
they shot like, 3 attempts they take a lot.
They take a lot,
and they don't adjust.
Had, like I guess second place was like 39 a game. Celtics were like 46, 47.
Yeah, they
which didn't sound like a huge.
They get stuck in that.
They take a lot, but you know, this year I think the problem that they had and why I if this was Celtics Unfiltered, which I guess it is now, I would be pounding the table for the center because when they had Porzingis, like they could throw the ball down to Porzingis on the block and let him go to work, and that gave their offense like some stabilization. Mm-hmm. Like it's kind of like in football, like they could only throw the deep ball. So they had no underneath, they had no run game, and it was just the deep ball. So once teams started to take away the 3-point line and run them off the threes, then it became problematic for them. When they were humming in 24, like Porzingis, they would just have him to actually play like a post game. And they could like get 2s out of Porzingis that were easy buckets. They didn't have that because they didn't have that player this year.
All right, now I'm bored. All right, let's go to Patty and Agawam.
I mean, I'm making sense, and you just want to keep yelling.
What's What's up, Patty?
Patty.
What's up, Jen?
Hey.
Wanted to non sequitur into Star Wars again, if that's all right.
That's great.
But first, I just wanted to give Deuce a very happy belated 50th, my man.
Oh, thank you.
I'll be joining the club later this year, so.
That's right.
But
hey, get your
just
colonoscopy.
Regarding Star Wars, oh no, nobody's touching down there. But regarding the Phantom Menace, I wanted to touch on 2 Star Wars things. I think if they made Jar Jar more of a character like Warwick, the Ewok, in Return of the Jedi, just a little bit goofy and a little bit clumsy instead of kind of like over the top and like bombastic, then I think it would have got a lot of better response. I like the Phantom Menace But yeah, Jar Jar is kind of just kind of makes you sigh like, oh, come on, not this guy again.
You looked at what are we doing?
And the other thing, the best movie going experience I ever had. I was 5 years old, and this movie theater in Springfield where I grew up, called the Bing, ran a double feature. I don't know if you guys remember double features of Raiders of the Lost Ark, and they reran The Empire Strikes Back. And that was like...
That's a hell of a double feature.
I mean, being a kid, being 5 years old, it's still, to this day, the best movie-going experience I ever had. That's all I got.
Nice. Thanks, Patty.
We used to do the double feature on Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, as a Jewish person.
That's what you
and
do.
like
Chinese
the
food and
movie
movies.
theater that we went to, right? Like you'd give the ticket like to the person at the front, but once you were behind that person, like you had free for all behind there.
The Lazar family hopping theaters.
No, this is more Friends, but like you would like time it out so that like, oh, we're gonna go to this movie at 1, and then we'll go to this movie at 3:30. But my best movie theater experience might have been seeing The Hangover Part 1 for the first time as like an 18-year-old kid. I don't think I've ever laughed so hard in my life. I plead the fifth on that one.
By the way, Fred, I'm excited for the movie. They redid this whole movie theater here.
Oh, so it's
at Patriot
reopening?
Place.
I thought it was closed.
It's going to
new
reopen,
ownership.
and it's going to be all like luxury seats and nice recliners and stuff. So I'm kind of excited. It seems
Maybe
like
we'll
it'll
go
be
see Dune 3.
Ellen, Wisconsin. I'm with Evan. The Phantom Menace is underrated. I think a lot of people were just soured on it and never went back with an open mind. Mike is also right. Empire is the best, but the original is probably the best complete movie. The other two rely on each other.
Yeah.
Also, just remembering that Rise of Skywalker exists makes me angry every time.
Oh, my God. I think we can all agree on that one. Even Matt Morrell's out on Rise of Skywalker, right?
That was the last new movie, right? Like
yeah.
Oh my God.
No, completely forgettable. No reason to go back. Like
I
even
just
Phantom
remember-
Menace, I saw twice in the theater.
I remember leaving the theater like angry. Like that was garbage.
Just
like what is
somehow the Emperor's Return.
Yeah, like
you had 2 movies to set up how that happened. You can't just save that for a line in the third movie to be like, and he's back now. You know,
horrible,
drive me crazy.
Garbage, and it had like 16 endings. It was just
the space horses. Like there's only vague parts I can remember of it, but
so bad.
I like it's just like that's why I like the Avengers, because there was a plan to it. They made a bunch of movies. They all fed into each other. There was one creative vision. Whereas, and I like The Last Jedi. I think that's like a one that some people don't like. Like I thought that was the one that had like some actual creative teeth to it. It was a little different. It had good battles. Like I thought the battle at the beginning was good. The battle on the crate at the end was really good.
Yeah.
But a lot of people think like that ruined Star Wars. I don't know. I don't get those.
I agree. That's the thing I like about the Avengers the most is how it like all feels like one
You could
world.
go, and then they
connects
literally
and-
went back to the original movies in the last one.
Yeah.
You know, to put the plot
Star
together.
Wars like reboot, it just felt like it was all over
3
the
different
place.
movies. If you just given it to one person, which I think at one point they wanted to, and had one creative vision of we're going to set things up that are going to pay off in the third movie. Instead, it was like they had no idea. It was all over the place.
Yeah.
Dan in Virginia from Michigan. Last Thursday's episode of Helmets, Holes, and TV History Unfiltered was tremendous. As was noted at the time, Deuce had a very strong show. The 2 lines that got me the most, however, belonged to Fred and Paul. Sorry, Deuce. The line from Paul was his response to "I've watched Schindler's List" when Evan mentioned that he hadn't seen "It's a Wonderful Life." The line from Fred came in response to the doctor's comment about the surgery that unfortunately happens when people don't do colon checks. Fred commented, "Yeah, and then you're really up to your elbows." To pick up on a couple other items from Thursday's show, I was surprised there was no love expressed from Morticia Adams. She was a literal smoke show at times. If you haven't seen the show, there was a recurring joke where she would ask someone, "Do you mind if I smoke?" Then rather than light up a cigarette, she would just emit smoke. The joke may have been lame, but she certainly was not. Did you like Morticia?
That's the mom, right?
Adam's
the
family,
mom.
the
Yeah,
mom.
yeah. Didn't oh shoot, what's I'm forgetting the woman who played the actress who played out of
Carolyn
country.
Jones.
What?
Carolyn Jones.
Carolyn
that's
Jones.
the original. Who's the one in the movie though? She's kind of
Angelica
Houston. That's who I was thinking. Yeah. No, I like goth. I like the goth style. I like goth
Fred,
girls.
I was
like
living.
goth girls.
Yeah,
he does.
I was living near D.C. when Albert Hainsworth left there for New England. He was already showing signs in D.C. that he was going to be completely wrong for New England, and I knew this was going to be a real test for Belichick's powers to turn around a non-performer. It was no surprise at all when Hainsworth quickly washed out with the Patriots. I mean, that was that was weird to begin with. Like, they'd never had a press conference for free agents they brought in, and they had a press conference for Albert Hainsworth.
Yeah.
It was just weird.
Bill was enamored with a lot of those guys, like guys at the end that he just,
Well, sometimes
Chad
it works.
Ochocinco.
Corey Dillon certainly
Corey Dillon
worked.
was a good one. I mean, I feel like, though, at the end, I mean, that's probably why. Like, I mean, who else was there?
I mean, like Hainsworth didn't come here until he was like 10 years into his career, right?
Yeah.
Like that one was.
Well, that's what he's talking about. Guys at the who had never won, like looking for that first.
But he was a really good player in Tennessee.
Joey Gallo. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he just didn't, like, by the time he got here, he was just washed.
No, and he had like, something to do with the water skis or something, like a water, I don't know. There was something going on with him, some kind of criminal activity too that they was like going by. I don't remember.
Like he fits more in the category
Something
of
with
like,
a waitress.
Waitress or something?
Yeah.
I forget.
Like
Well,
they
I
did
don't
a
know
lot
why
of
the
the,
jet
that's
skis
like
are in my
the
head,
Joey Galloways.
Joey
and
Galloway,
then,
Chad Ochocinco,
Yeah, like the
John Lynch.
Right, like that's
Corey
what,
Holt was here for, Reggie Wayne was here for a cup of coffee.
Marius Tarmas, R.I.P.
Joseph Adai didn't, I feel like.
Joseph Adai was here?
I think he was here for like a minute. There was I think Reggie Wayne tapped out though. I feel like
I don't think he made it
he
through
was
camp.
like,
He might have made one game or something.
I'm out, coach.
Yeah, I mean, but that's like the category.
Robert Gallery.
Robert Gallery. Yeah. Like he liked those
Yeah.
guys that were once.
Paul complains about the stereotype of Italians as criminals. As an Australian living in the United States, however, I can confirm that Italians aren't the only nationality stereotyped as criminals. The stereotype is ironic given that England used parts of America as penal colonies up until the time when you colonial ruffians decided you didn't like tea or something. Well, Australia was where they sent all the criminals.
That's right. That's right. Actually, I felt like such an idiot. I just read a book about Captain James Cook, who I had no idea about, and basically just, I don't want to say discovered, but was like the first Englishman to sail around into the Pacific and like first person to land at Hawaii. I had no idea of him. Not the Buffalo Bill, James Cook, Evan. I know what you're thinking. But during the Revolution, and then he got killed in Hawaii at the end. Things went sour. But he's trying to find a passage around Alaska to get through over, to get around the world. He couldn't do it because obviously it doesn't exist. So anyway, that's my history TED Talk for a second.
Okay.
Cool.
Tyler from Ludlow, question for Deuce.
Yeah.
When you were in Hollywood, did you enjoy working with single cam or multicam shows more?
Well, we were mostly multicam, but I do tell a story. We did a pilot once that was set to be a multicam. So you know what I mean by multicam.
So what does this mean?
All right, so multicam is your basic sitcom where you're kind of in front of a live audience and you're cutting between the things and you sense that, like 2.5 Men was
it's not just one camera.
But Modern Family would be a single cam, more shot like a movie. It's set on set, so
almost like on a stage.
Yeah, exactly. And which I really didn't have a huge appreciation for multicam comedies. Like some people adore them and love them, and I like them. But then working on 2.5 Men, I was like, this is cool. Like this is like a play. It's live. It's not. Everyone just says, oh, they can the laughter, and no, it's like real energy there. They're trying to get laughs. But one story I had was, and we did both. We mostly did single cam or multicams. But we had developed this whole multicam, and we were getting ready to shoot it, and we are going to shoot it like next week. And ABC was like, we already have the multicams that we're going to pick up. So if you want this show to have any chance of going to series, you've got to make it a single cam, like right now. And so it's like impossible to do. I mean, it's a completely different tone and everything. So, but yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed the single cams because I liked more like movie style and but I really appreciated a good 2.5 Men. I mean, people still, when we talk about it, are like, that's really funny. I mean, it was a brilliant sitcom.
I think about a lot how like I was way too young to be watching that show.
Oh yeah.
But that's okay.
It's all sex jokes.
When I lived out there, I went to a couple different multicam, I believe, like audiences.
Yeah.
Mom with Anna Faris.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Another one.
That one was good. And then the Goldbergs went to taping of that.
Yep.
Went to a couple of other ones. But the Mom was really funny. Like her and Allison Janney were really funny.
I think that's Chuck Lorre's same thing. Like a lot of the writers that were on 2.5 Men, then it became like Big Bang, Mike and Molly.
Yeah.
That one. That guy.
It's really funny, and like you go and like you're like, oh, I don't want to like laugh just to laugh, but like they make like it's like a comedy show. Like it's funny.
That's what I was so impressed with is like, and I was kind of trying to write too, but like a joke would fall flat and they would on the fly have a huddle of writers and the writers would be like, how about this? How about this? How about this? It's like just how sharp these guys were to come up with those jokes. And then they'd, all right, yeah, that's the one. Let's use that one. And then, this they have a comedian that would entertain the crowd in between takes. All right, pretend like you haven't seen it before, and then they try the new joke and see what that reaction was like. And they definitely pump the laughter in sometimes to make it sound uniform, but it wasn't like I always kind of in my mind was like they just shoot it in a quiet room and then they go and they plug in fake laughter, and it's not that at all.
My laugh is in some laugh tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then there's also this group of probably moms that were sitting next to us, and this one woman had this cackle, just one of those real cackles. And I watched the episode, and I knew it was the episode that we went to. And all you could hear was her.
Do you think they plant some of these people? She's a good laugher.
No, but there's definitely times when you're like, it's a great audience tonight. There's a lot of good laughers, and I mean, usually they'll have someone entertaining them, doing magic tricks or hypnosis sometimes, or just somebody to keep it moving, because it can get tedious. I hate being on set, generally speaking. I just find shooting stuff being so exhausting. Setting the lights up and then the cameras.
A lot of hurry up and wait.
The hurry up and wait of it all. But what I love best about 2.5 Men was at a certain point when it was successful is they started bringing in Katsuya, which is the best sushi place in LA, and no one would eat it. So I would go into the green room, all these network executives, and I'd be walking out with this giant place crab hand rolls, crispy rice tuna, all the Katsuya hits. But that's
good stuff.
That was fun.
Good stuff.
Don't go to the Price is Right.
Oh
my God.
Long day.
We waited all day.
Evan.
Oh
come
my
on
God.
down.
And you can't go on your phone or anything. So you're just, they tell you to bring entertainment, cards or a book or something to and you just, I think we got there at 8 or 8:30 in the morning, and it didn't shoot till 3:30. And we just, for that entire time, we were just sitting around doing nothing.
But you were in the mix to get called up at any time?
I was in the crowd.
Yeah.
So I went.
Is there a difference between people who can go up and get called and just a general crowd who
No,
can't get called up?
it's really random.
One and the same.
And so I went. This is when I was out there with school, and we went as a group. It was school, and one of my friends that was in the group got on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so but she was the only one out of all of us that got.
If
picked.
you got on, would you be the guy who let's say Fred goes $500, 501?
Oh yeah.
The person who goes $1 more just to completely eliminate one person.
Whatever it
That's such a dick move. Or the $1.
Yeah.
$1 Drew.
Yeah.
Instead, this is Tyler still. Instead of Father Fred, I would much rather see a PFW PU sitcom series complete with a live studio audience in laugh track for an authentic 80s, 90s feel. I could see Andy flexing every time he comes on screen, Deuce bursting in through a door like Kramer, and Evan with a, well, the analytics say catchphrase.
Yeah, I could see that. Sure. Love a good sitcom. I mean, I don't know. Paul watches the sitcoms now. I don't really watch much sitcoms anymore. Paul still consumes network television in a way that I never did.
Because it's easiest.
He loves
it's easy.
We only watch a couple of we watch Abbott Elementary. I guess that's technically a sitcom.
Single cam, yeah.
But
single cam.
But that one's funny.
Do you guys like procedurals though, like CSI, the Law and Orders of the world?
I like the original Law and Order.
Yeah,
I really like that.
I
don't watch a lot of serial TV anymore, or it's either sports or something like The Boys.
Yeah,
Which, by the way, I'm watching them on episode 5 of the last season.
I've seen some bad reviews of it.
Really?
I don't know. I haven't watched it since season 2.
I'm having fun.
I'm still watching Hacks though, which if anybody
Hacks?
Hacks is excellent.
HBO.
I think it's.
Do you watch Rooster?
No.
Rooster's Steve Carell's new show on HBO.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we watch quite a bit of TV these days because there's no sports to watch anymore.
No.
So, but we watched Running Point, which is a basketball adjacent show, which was cool. On Netflix, that's what's her name? I forget her name. But it's a pretty good cast.
Yeah.
And that one's good. The only network TV show we watch is Abbott Elementary and High Potential because the Always Sunny girl is in there. Yeah.
Nobody's watching Real Housewives of Rhode Island?
I've watched a little of Real Housewives of Rhode Island. Of course, I visited Jared's
it's amazing.
coffee shop.
Amazing.
Can't stop.
Amazingly bad.
It's so bad, it's hilarious.
Do you know any of the girls?
No, I don't. No. But they do remind me of family members.
I just think all these shows, it's just the worst of us.
Oh,
it really is.
Hilarious.
It's the worst
I think it
of
all
us.
started with Laguna Beach, where you took you kind of blended the reality and the soap opera of it. So it's they're real people, but not.
Well, that's what we're big 90 Day Fiance people, the whole world. And
Yeah.
like sometimes I literally am like, is this real? Like this really happened to these people? Like
No, it's all
and when one storyline,
scripted reality,
they like had like an open marriage, and she gets pregnant with the other guy. And I'm like, there's no way.
Plot
Like,
twist.
I was like, no way that this actually happened to like a
But
real
that's
person.
still a pretty interesting like pitch in the story room of like, so we got an idea for this week.
Yeah.
How about you get pregnant by the other guy?
I mean, it's hilarious.
Yeah,
like the crash.
You
out
see Monica
was-
Seles is back, Freddie. She's got an ad for Vigart, whatever that might be. But I hadn't seen Monica Seles in a while. You're old.
Huh.
Remember her?
Yeah.
Ball hit. Remember she screamed that?
Yeah. Oh, she was. Yeah, she was one of the original screamers.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was a
I hate
screamer.
that. Dan in Virginia and Michigan has a correction. He says not all the criminals got sent to Australia. Between 1718 and 1775, over 52,000 convicts were transported from the British Isles to America. It is estimated that convicts made up a quarter of the British immigrants to colonial America in the 18th century. So, okay, that
All right.
explains a lot.
Okay.
I think one of the coolest things that we did in San Francisco was going to what's it called? Alcatraz.
That was
just,
awesome.
Yeah, that
was
that-
so cool.
that
We
was
ran
one of
into
the-
PU listeners there.
Yeah.
I could feel like this guy
Were
kind
they
of
locked up or?
Yes,
they
yes,
should have
they
been. Two really nice guys from England, and I mean, this is new to me, but you start to feel like someone's like staring at you, like you keep looking at them, and I'm like, I think this guy might know who we are. But they came over; they were super nice guys. But Alcatraz, I just thought was so cool. I mean, just to be like. It's not that big. Like you think Alcatraz is a prison and there's all these different wings and things. It's like one kind of big warehouse where the actual prisoners
one
were.
cell
It's
block.
all right there, you know. And they're like, and in this one there was a shootout and this guy died, and this one is where they dug out. Like everything happened right there. But it was really cool. If you have a chance to go out there,
It was incredible,
Yeah.
and I think it's cool. Like, my whole time I'm thinking like, okay, how would I try to escape?
how could you even think about
And then,
trying to
like,
escape that
once,
room?
Once
It's
we
like-
were in there, I was like, no,
No.
no wonder why nobody actually like did it. Like, this is impossible.
No, and the guy. I mean, did you ever see like Escape from Alcatraz, that movie where like Clint Eastwood and stuff? And you see him dig out, but you realize like they're digging into an area that's like between the cells, this big, like
Yeah.
right there. Like how you could possibly.
and then you have to
even
make it
fathom.
like all the way down
to the
the water,
right?
Which is like you're breathing air for maybe like
Yeah.
10 minutes before they're like on you,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
there's no way that.
The other interesting thing they said, which I never quite put together, was like part of what was tough about Alcatraz was that you could see San Francisco and life
Oh,
going
yeah.
on right there.
Yeah.
So
It's so
like kind of
enticing.
torture for the
Yeah.
prisoners to have to sit there and
Yeah.
watch it all going
Yep.
on.
I thought, to me, the thing that got me the most was when we went to the solitary confinement area.
yeah. Oh my
And just
God.
in
yeah.
your head,
Oh,
imagining
yeah.
being
Oh.
in there.
I know.
Creepy.
Dark
It's just-
end of the
Yeah.
thing, like you could see it was like purposely all blacked out and like the double doors and
Yeah.
stuff, and like just sitting in the dark.
All I wanted to see was the furnace Sean Connery rolled back and forth through, and they would not show it to us.
That was Morale the whole time. I'm like, if anybody here says "Welcome to the Rock,"
Yeah. It was great. I'm glad we went.
Matt and Devin, UK, I'm so glad that I listen almost exclusively to PU and Catch 22. I needed an extra podcast to listen to the other day and came across Giardi's, and he had Bedard on. I've never listened to Bedard before, but what an idiot. That's terrible.
That's mean.
We're all friends of
Greg
Bedard. He was talking about the Akis pick, and he was saying that he won't be a 3-down player, just a situational pass rusher, and that he'll be competing with Swenson to be the 4th or 5th rusher. I'm never straying from my PU and Catch 22 crew again.
See, I feel like it's not. I feel like
I wonder if that's what he actually said.
if he's a situational player, I figured it's going to be early down situations, not pass
Mm.
rush situations. Like if he's going to be, if that's going to happen to him and he doesn't, let's say he doesn't completely pan out, like as a rugged edge setter on like Anthony Jennings role type of player, that the questions that I have with him is actually like, does he have the burst and the bend and the fluidity as a pass rusher to be like a true double-digit sack guy, like we were talking about earlier? Not the.
That
first
was
and
what
second
I
down
I
part.
directly asked Coach Bielema when I talked to him was, what do you think he needs to do to become a 3-down player? And he kind of didn't really answer the question. He brought up like John Simon talking about the edges set back when he was here.
Yeah.
So I think he agrees with you. I think that, but I agree. I mean, it's I don't see the comparisons to Keon White, but I think part of the reason Keon White couldn't really do it is he didn't really have an array of moves. It was kind of one thing.
Yeah.
And I think Akis is a better player and a more explosive player and a more bendy-ish player. But I think you're right. Is he going to be able to get the edge on guys?
like his speed and his ability to bend, like, is that good enough to on third down that you want? Now, he's great on stunts.
Yeah.
So if they're going to run a bunch of games and stuff up front, then like they might not need him to just go one-on-one on a tackle to get to the quarterback. But if he doesn't completely hit his ceiling, then I think of him more as like an Anfernee Jennings type of player than like
wasn't the dominant pass rush, but can still get you. I mean, then those guys, you can get by with those guys. I mean, the MVP of the Super Bowl is a running back. So,
Spee in Fresno says, I don't watch much college football, so I'd appreciate if you'd shed light on the knock on Drake coming out of college about him putting up good numbers but not winning as much as you'd expect. I remain concerned that we saw something of that in the playoffs, but welcome pushback on that take. Well, I mean, he played at North Carolina. Great program.
So I would say, like, that's a long-winded answer, but like his biggest knock was consistency in college. Like he would, because of his mechanics, because of his footwork, he was wildly inconsistent, but he would have like these stretches of games, or if you made like a highlight tape of Drake Maye's best plays in college, it was better than anybody else's in college, but we weren't sure if he was going to be able to consistently put it all together. His sophomore season at North Carolina, they were good. They were a top 25 team. They went to the ACC championship game. They got blown out by, I think it was Miami or Oregon or one of those schools. I think Oregon might have been the bowl game. They got blown out in the ACC championship game, but they were pretty good. Josh Downs was on that team. Amarian Hampton was on that team. Like they were a pretty good team. His junior season, his last year in college, they lost a handful of guys to the NFL from that better team. They changed offensive coordinators. His offensive coordinator left and went to Wisconsin, and he got a new offensive coordinator, and they didn't take like that next step that some people were expecting them to take. So, his biggest signature win was actually probably against Duke in his sophomore season. Obviously, big rivalry game for them. But he was just wildly inconsistent in college. Like I said, his best 10 throws were as good as any throw that you ever see, but he had some, kind of what the WTF type plays too.
Well, when was the last time he had an offensive coordinator for 2 years in a row?
He's never had it.
That's true.
Now.
So now.
Yeah. Even like maybe high school, but like, college, he changed coordinators and then obviously changed coordinators last year. So.
All right. On the phone is Eldred. What's up, Eldred?
Hey, fellas. How y'all doing?
Okay.
Hey, Eldred.
Hey, I agree with one of the callers about Gennard, but he got some points, though. Do y'all think this draft was more of Wolf or the coaches?
I don't know. I mean,
I think a combination.
I feel like
of both.
Akis is kind of a Vrabel player. I mean, what did you feel like last year? What did you feel was more Wolf or Vrabel last year?
I think it was Grable because the way he was picking players mostly. And then this year, but that guy that Saturday when I was on, he kind of blasted me with the email. So I know more football than your butt do. I don't have to listen to Evan with you because I watch the games. I don't watch film. Evan's good. Evan's very good. But I watch the players. So those wide receivers, I'm not like Bill Belichick. But other than that, I think it was more Wolf draft.
Yeah.
Because
it was almost like they were trading off. Like
receivers.
Wolf got the first one, Vrabel gets the second one, Wolf got the third one, and then,
Then Wolf got the rest.
but then Vrabel wasn't there for the third day, so.
Yeah, wasn't there for the third day. That's what I'm
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like, is just Travion Henderson feel like a Vrabel type of skill set at running back? Like
Ohio player?
A light,
Williams?
I mean, I guess maybe because of the school, but like a light, like speedy running back like that. Like if, I'm not thinking about Derrick Henry when I, when I describe that kind of player. I don't know. I think that this year it did feel a little bit like Lomu felt more like Elliott's guy and Akis felt more like Vrabel's guy, but I think it's hard to say about
I think
the
it
rest
truly was collaborative, and I think the picks were a culmination of the scouting department's recommendations and then the evaluation of, Wolf and, even maybe a little Matt Groh, but, the position, I think I think it was a true collaborative effort.
I just want to. I just want to avoid saying like, oh well, this guy's tough, so that's a Vrabel guy, but this guy isn't tough, so that must be.
Well,
a
that
Wolf
was my
guy.
sort of point of bringing up Henderson and like
Yeah.
Kyle
No,
Williams.
it's-
Is like they're not like these rugged, like physical players, like what we're trying to like kind of typecast Vrabel's
Exactly.
type.
Yeah.
being.
Yeah, no, I think Vrabel has a brain between his ears, and I think he listens to the experts.
Yeah,
he's not an expert scout.
Like
Yeah.
Raridan, I feel like might have been more a coaching staff pick, honestly. Like I think Elliot Wolf came out and admitted that there was divide in the room on that pick, that they had a back and forth
I think
about
so, too.
whether
Yeah.
to pick him or not. So I don't know. I don't really like labeling it that way either. But like, I think to Fred's point, it feels like everybody kind of had a voice, and then it sort of came out in the wash, depending on.
What about Ryan Cowden? Did Ryan Cowden get a pick?
Well, yeah, I think he was involved as well.
No, I
like
know
a guy
you,
like
Fred,
Raridan
I
is a perfect example. He gets on your board because initially the scout who was his area scout talked to somebody and talked about and found out, or at least was convinced of his upside.
Yeah.
And that's where it starts. And then, everyone dives in and you do more research and by the time draft day comes, you've convinced the room.
Yeah. I think, like historically speaking, you would think of scouts go for tools, right? Like they go for upside, they go for athleticism, guys like Lomu. Coaches go for like proven track record of like, I can watch the film and this guy's good at X, Y, and Z. But that's not saying that that's what the Patriots do. I'm just saying that's like the general rule of like what coaches look for versus what scouts look for.
I've heard this take a couple times, and I feel like this is just a let's dig up the Vrabel versus Wolf storyline. And this guy, because he eats glass, that's a Vrabel guy, and but Wolf didn't like him because he eats glass, and that to me this is your thing, Fred. They're all in on it. I mean,
they are, and even when Bill was here, there was a lot. But the difference, I think, when Bill was here, is Bill was a very mistrusting person. He had a very small circle of people that he trusted, and that went into the college ranks too. And so when someone that he trusted recommended a player, that weighed heavily.
Yeah.
So when Schiano, he liked Schiano, so he'd trust that. There were certain people in the college ranks that he would listen to more than others.
Yeah. I think that it's good. Like it's good that they are able to have these discussions and like make decisions that way. And I think it's good that, in theory, that you have a little bit different tastes. So it's not like you're just drafting off of the same exact kind of player. Like if you're always just drafting the effort and finish try hard guy, like Paul likes to call them, then you're not going to get any talent.
Yeah.
Right. Like, but if you have somebody that's offsetting that with saying, well, this is a 21-year-old kid who's got insane athleticism and he might not be ready to play right away, but like in 3 years, he's going to be the better player. Then like, that's how you hit on guys like Drake Maye and Christian Gonzalez and, players like that.
Nathan writes in, he says, I agree with Mike. I do not like the number 82 for Eli. Is that what you said? Is that your
I
take?
said I would have liked 88
like
better.
it.
I mean, Barth gave it no notes. I was 88 for a tight end. I think.
I thought he looked sick in number 9 at Notre Dame, and he wore number 88 in high school, and it looked slick. Also, Mike said he wants to see how big Eli is in person. He's huge.
Yeah.
I swear he was 6'6" in 8th grade. So this is somebody who must have went to school.
Oh,
with
this
him.
is the same guy that played with him and told us how good he is.
The only time he was not the biggest player in the field in high school was when we played Caden Proctor. Side note, Proctor was a 5-star in high school, and I don't think he was at the level. I'm not saying I'm a better player than him, but I do think he's overhyped. I was honestly happy to see Miami take him because they're going to have to find a replacement for him in 2 years.
Wow. That was a surprising pick. They picked him over. They definitely picked him over Caleb Downs, Caden Proctor. There was another one too that they picked him over that I think a lot of people were surprised about with Miami. But Raridan, maybe he could get number 9 if Kayshon Boutte isn't on the team.
I don't think any tight end should be wearing number 9.
No, I don't. I don't like the single digits.
They need to be in the 80s, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. That bumps me. I don't like seeing like linebackers and single digits.
I mean, obviously
Either.
87 is special to all of us, but like 85, Hunter Henry's number is a great tight.
It's a great
That's a
number.
great one. I know.
Yeah, I think that's
88 is. I mean, Terry Glenn was a good 88 for
88
the
to me
Patriots.
is a wide receiver
It's a wide
number.
receiver number. I mean, I would have
Like, I
taken
think
it
of
with
like
him.
Cowboys wide receiver, like Des Bryant. or something.
Right.
I think of 88.
But I was just looking right now. I mean, the open numbers. 1 is open, 6 is open, 11. Who might that be earmarked for? 18, of course, with Kyle Williams making the big switch. 51, 59, 60, a bunch of other ones. 95, 96.
60 is definitely a center.
Yeah.
Yeah,
David
David
Andrews.
Andrews,
Yep.
yeah.
And the Patriots were found in 1960, so, that's a good number, like, historically. But 51 still open.
Okay.
Linebacker.
Sam in Charlotte, for the longest time, I thought Christian in L.A. was one of Deuce's friends that he talked into calling in and being obnoxious to get on Paul's nerves. But now his takes are even getting on Mike's nerves. His favorite Gronk take tells me that if he is rich, he is not because he's smart. Must have been one of the people in California that won the lottery every year.
I mean, there's a lot of rich people who aren't smart in California that I saw. I mean, you write one thing or do one thing and it's successful, and all of a sudden you're rich.
Can't we
but
have
no,
that happen to
I
us?
appreciate Christian. I did not know him before this, but I don't really have many friends left in LA. I feel like most of them have moved on as they've grown up, and I mean, some are still out there and have had some success, but for the most part, a lot of people left when they wanted to like buy a house.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to do out there.
Yeah.
James Pettigrew, the most interesting Patriots fan in the world, is even more interesting because he says, very interesting fact, I was born May 4th, 1977. A proper Star Wars baby.
Yeah.
So I turned 49 yesterday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And that is, of course, 1977, the year of the first Star Wars.
Right, Gen X, baby.
Next year, he's going to have to get a colonoscopy.
Yeah, that's coming up. Tomorrow's going to be tough. I got no liquid diet tomorrow, and then Thursday's the big day, so I won't be here. Sorry to everyone, but I'll have a full report. Evan and I, should we do like a separate video, you
I think
and I?
you should send pictures from the room.
Maybe we'll do.
Can we have the
a
doctor
YouTube
send
breakdown.
pictures?
I'll give you a close-up, Fred.
Yeah.
That'll be great. You'll never look at me the same way.
We're going to do a YouTube breakdown of that.
Here's his colon right here. We got a polyp. We're going to cut that off right there, and then we're going to cut over here to a couple hemorrhoids. Yeah.
Thanks. Yep. Had to go that extra mile with that, huh?
It's all on the table tomorrow, Ev. I don't know. I mean, it's a little bit like, I don't know. You're getting a check under the hood. You're hoping for good. Like, I mean,
We all
good
hope
news.
we are
We're hoping for good
sincerely
news. I
hoping
don't
for
know.
good news. We are. Yeah.
Find some Patriots memorabilia up there. Rick in Riverside, is my excitement for this offense misguided? They added competition on the O-line where the starting five can be very good to a top 10 unit. At wide receiver, Dobbs was a great pickup, and if A.J. Brown comes in the wide receiver room, it can be a good to top 10 unit.
Oh, yeah.
Raritan has the potential to be Drake May's Binky for many years, and we added a very good fullback. I haven't even mentioned we have a Hall of Fame caliber OC. Am I right to be this excited?
I feel excited
Yeah.
about all of it.
Yeah.
I think the only question that I have about the entire team is like, can they recreate the magic? Like, how do they kind of get the mojo? It's going to be different. Like, it's not going to. They're not going to be the underdogs anymore, and they're
no
not
more Warriors.
none
None of that stuff.
Right,
Yeah.
but like, how does Mike Vrabel reimagine that whole thing?
That's the
Because
challenge.
They have more talent certainly than they did last year. There's no doubt about that.
As for Star Wars, any rankings have to have episodes 4, 5, and 6 in the top 3 in some order.
You mean
Solo,
1, 2, and 3, which I feel very strongly about.
Solo was a very good movie as well, and killing Maul that early was a waste of a good character.
Oh, Darth Maul. Yeah.
Darth Maul.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
they didn't kill him, actually.
Yeah,
If you-
spoiler.
If you watch the things, yeah.
Wait,
I mean, they
he
just
said he
did a
saw
whole series.
Solo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
He comes back at the end.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Spoiler.
Come on.
Sorry.
Get on our level. If you're going to call him the Star Wars
Also,
talk.
4, 5, and 6, I'm out on that.
We're
Those are 1, 2, and 3. Yeah.
So you call them 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, because like it's just those are the originals.
I
like,
know.
But don't you remember, Fred, like watching that thing being like episode 4? Like, what did I miss? Because it always was, at least from, I know they've changed a few times over the years, but you were always like, A New Hope, like where are these other episodes? There was always some intrigue with that. But did you ever listen to the radio like broadcast of it? They also did like a radio thing. I remember listening
like
to
World
when
of
I was
Worlds
little.
when everybody thought the world was ending.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that was like a dramatic,
Yeah.
reading. I remember being on the Cape listening to that over like 4th of July on the radio. I was aging myself a little bit, but
All right. That's going to be it for this edition of Patriots Unfiltered. We've got Catch 22 tomorrow at noon.
Yes.
Any teasers for that?
A lot of UDFA talk tomorrow. We did the draft class last week. then got to dig into the UDFA's more.
You gonna press Barth on the numbers a little bit?
I'll give him
no notes at all, Barth. Like really?
I know. I was disappointed.
Across the board.
He kind of mailed that one in, didn't he?
He was very busy.
He's very busy.
He's got 17 radio appearances and podcasts yesterday.
And then, of course, we'll be back on Thursday without Paul. Maybe we'll get some updates.
Without Deuce.
Or Deuce.
Hopefully, we get some updates on Deuce. Too.
Yeah, I'll call in. I'll call in.
Just me and you, Evan.
Oh gosh.
No, Alex will be here.
Is he going to yell at me about the Celtics again? I hope not.
We're not yelling. We're having a discussion. All right.
Hey, this is Deuce. Thanks for tuning into the show. If you really want to help us, make sure you like us wherever you get your podcasts, like Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, make sure you follow us on the New England Patriots YouTube channel to see this show and everything else that we do here at the Patriots. Thanks a lot.